Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto has golden chakra chains part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, sat behind his desk with tears in his eyes and a dull pain in his chest. Before him were the reports of the last night's events and the source of so much heartache, both for him and his village. In his lap was a baby wrapped up like a bundle of cloth, which had become the victim of so much hate and fear, despite it only taking its first breath less than 12 hours ago. Looking down at the sleeping infant, Hiruzen took in its small features which were not of a human baby, but a newborn fox kit. The kitten yielded in its sleep and one of its 9 small golden tails wrapped itself around the old man's hand. Sarutobi sighed and thought back to how this had all begun. Outside the Hidden Leaf village, 8 hours earlier, the ninja of the Hidden Leaf were stood anxiously on the rooftops of the village, some panting, others wounded as they looked to the outskirts of the village, where just moments ago, their fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze had warped away the mighty scourge of nature that had nearly laid waste to their homes, the nine-tailed fox. Even now, surrounded by his elite ANBU guard, Hiruzen could hear the footfalls of the now distant beast and could feel the mighty gales created by its swaying tails. The fox had appeared out of nowhere in the dead of night, right in the center of the village. The only warning had been a sudden explosion of its chakra, which Hiruzen knew was it breaking from its Jinchuriki, Kushina Uzumaki. Mere moments after they had sensed the chakra, the beast had arrived in a great plume of smoke and began mindlessly destroying the village. The village had quickly mobilized its forces against the beast while hurrying the civilians and the younger ninja out of danger as quickly as possible. The attack lasted for 2 hours and then, to the shock of all those watching, the fox seemed to shudder, blink, and then turn docile. It ceased its attacks and did nothing but use its tails to protect itself from those ninja that was still attacking it. For a moment before Minato appeared and warped the beast away, it met Hiruzen's eyes and reflected the same feeling the old Hokage had. Confusion. Hokage-sama, came the voice of one of the ANBU, shaking the aging Sarutobi from his thoughts. Yondaime-sama has driven the fox from the village. What are your orders? 4 of you will come with me to aid Yondaime-sama. The rest of you will begin search and rescue in the most badly hit parts of the village. Hiruzen ordered. Yes, sir. They all shouted as the Sandaime ran off to where the Kyuubi had been taken. After running through the forest for a couple of miles, Hiruzen and his ANBU stopped and bore witness to a sight that both amazed them and chilled them to the bone. A red-haired woman, Kushina Uzumaki, was lying beside a strange altar, whispering to a tiny blonde baby that was sleeping on the stone. One side of this altar was the nine-tailed fox, sitting quietly and staring down at the mother and baby with sad eyes. On the other side of the altar, opposite the fox, was a familiar blonde in the traditional uniform of a leaf jonin, with the addition of a white coat with red flames at the bottom and the words 4th Hokage written on the back. This was Minato Namikaze, and behind him, much to the horror of Hiruzen, was the Shinigami. Minato, no! You can't be planning to use the Reaper Death Seal! Hiruzen yelled, running toward his young successor. Minato coughed and smiled weakly. I'm so sorry, Sandaime-sama. This was all I could do. The power of the 9 tails is too great to the seal by anything other than an Uzumaki, or the Reaper Death Seal. Kushina is too hurt to cast the seal, so this is the only way. Kurama has already agreed. Kurama? Hiruzen frowned. That would be me, human. The 9 tails bellowed, its voice deep and menacing, yet also remorseful. I, Kurama of the Tailed Beasts, have agreed to make amends with the Hidden Leaf village by giving all of my power to the son of the Hokage and my previous Jinchuriki. Hiruzen stood stunned, unable to believe this beast that had recently destroyed so many lives was actually trying to make amends. So, you are going to turn little Naruto into the next Jinchuriki? And no. Kushina said, using all of her strength to sit up and look at Hiruzen. Kurama is going to give 100% of his chakra and power to Naruto, and then allow his mind and soul to be sealed in Minato before he. Kushina broke into fresh tears before she could finish her sentence. But Hiruzen knew what she was going to say. You aren't making a true Jinchuriki. Hiruzen said, stunned. You are creating a human-tailed beast. Heh, Kushina and I used to spend hours talking about how we would make a world where the tailed beasts could live free. Naruto will prove to the world that our dream was not for nothing. He will be the light to guide the ninja world. Please, Hiruzen, you will become Hokage again now, so please, protect our son. Hiruzen restrained his tears and nodded. I will. I swear it on my name, and my will of fire. I will protect your son Naruto with my dying breath. Minato smiled and clapped his hands together, finishing the Reaper Death Seal. There was a loud roar as the Shinigami sealed Kurama's soul into Minato, and then placed all its chakra into Naruto. The ghostly creature then absorbed Minato's and Kurama's soul, and a blinding light enveloped the area. In an instant the altar, the fox and the death god were all gone, leaving only the bodies of the Namikaze family. Allowing his tears to flow freely while his ANBU moved to secure Minato and Kushina's bodies, Hiruzen, the now active Hokage, approached the baby still curled in his mother's arms. Hiruzen couldn't suppress his gasp as he saw the boy turned into a fox kit with 9 golden tails, each as long as his body and a shining gold fur covering the sleeping kit. That would not be the last shock of the event, however. "Hokage-sama!" One of his ANBU screamed. "Yandame-sama and Kushina-sama are still alive." Hokage's office. Present time. Following the incident, Hiruzen swore the ANBU to secrecy and had Minato and Kushina moved to a secret medical ward located beneath the Sarutobi compound. The Hokage had taken Minato's Hokage coat and used it as a wrap for young Naruto, and then took him to his office. That has been 7 hours ago, and the old man had spent the entire time secretly carrying the sleeping Naruto and reading the reports of what had happened, including the one that detailed the ANBU sweep of Kushina's birthing chamber, and the deaths of all those guarding it as well as the medics and Hiruzen's wife Buwako. That had brought a fresh wave of tears to the old man, and ever since then, Naruto had periodically wrapped one of his tails around Hiruzen's fingers, as if comforting him, even in the boy's sleep. But now that the repairs were underway, the injured being treated and the dead being carried to the hospital morgue, Hiruzen knew that the council would be forming soon. Normally only the Hokage could call a council meeting, but due to the village still being in a state of emergency, anyone on the council could call one, so long as it was related to the emergency. And, as the third had predicted, a council had been called and would be meeting within the hour. Hiruzen was not looking forward to that. "This is going to be rough on us both, little one," Hiruzen said, running his hand through the fur between Naruto's long ears. "Don't worry, I will protect you," he added before standing up and heading to the council chambers. Leave council chamber. Hiruzen paused at the council chamber door. He had been notified on the way that everyone else was already there, but now that he was standing here, he experienced an unsettling thing. Only quiet talking could be heard from within the chamber. Normally, arguing would be heard as he approached and would immediately cease when he entered, but this time, there was barely a sound to be heard. With a sigh and a final prayer to whatever gods would listen, Hiruzen nodded to the guards to open the door. Hiruzen swept into the room, Naruto carefully concealed in his father's coat as the third Hokage took his seat at the head of the room and surveyed the council. The Hidden Leaf Council was split into 4 smaller sub-councils. The Clan Council consisting of the heads of every current Hidden Leaf clan. The Jonin Council, which consisted of 3 elite Jonin, 5 standard Jonin and 2 Tokubetsu Jonin. The Elder Council, which consisted of the Hokage's advisors, and lastly, the Civilian Council, which was made up of prominent business owners, property owners and the heads of various important civilian organizations. "Right, as Hokage, I call this meeting of the council open," Hiruzen said. He knew he was in for a long day when that announcement alone brought murmurs to the council. "Hokage-sama, if I may ask, where is Yandame-sama?" asked Hayashi Hyuga. "Following his battle with the nine-tailed fox, Minato Namikaze is currently incapacitated. He performed a normally suicidal jutsu called the Reaper Death Seal, yet he has miraculously survived, though he is comatose. He is receiving treatment at a private facility, and I will act as Hokage until he recovers," Hiruzen said, keeping his voice even. Showing emotion here would get him dogpiled by the elders and civilians. Just as the council went back to murmuring to itself, a tiny whine, like that of a puppy, echoed through the room. Hiruzen cringed at the normally cute noise. Naruto had woken up and the Hokage had hoped to have calmed the council a bit more before addressing them about the newly created 9 tails. "What exactly is in that bundle you have there, Hokage-sama?" asked a gaunt-looking civilian. Hiruzen sighed. "This is Naruto Uzumaki. He was recovered from the site of Minato's battle with the fox. He is the son of Kushina Uzumaki," he said, keeping his relationship to the fourth a secret for now. Very few knew about Kushina marrying Minato, but among them were the clan heads, the Elder Council and a single member of the Jonin Council, one with noticeably silver hair. His mother was badly hurt aiding the Yandame, and is currently receiving treatment in the same facility. She too is comatose at the moment. Those who knew of Minato and Kushina's relationship looked wide-eyed at the bundle which contained their son. Almost all of them, minus the elders, had been eager to meet the boy ever since they learned of the pregnancy. "Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but I can smell the kid and I recognize the noise he made." "Are you sure that kid is Kushina's?" Suminosuke asked skeptically. Sim had been a good friend to Kushina and a member of Team Jiraiya alongside Minato and Hayashi. The third Hokage sighed. "I had hoped to ease everyone into this, but with a nose as sharp as yours, Sim, I suppose it was impossible. Yes, this boy, Naruto Uzumaki, is really her son. But due to the battle, well, it would be best if I just showed you." Hiruzen carefully untangled the blanket, revealing that it was Minato's coat, which bothered a few of the civilians, but everyone forgot about that as it was dropped to the floor and Naruto was revealed. His brilliant sapphire eyes, opened for the first time, were peering at the astonished council. Before them, in all his glory, was a tiny, golden-furred fox kit with 9 long tails. "No way! It's not human!" one civilian yelled. "It's the 9 tails. It's possessed the baby!" Another screamed. "Enough!" Hiruzen roared, silencing the mob before more screaming occurred. Naruto yelped and lowered his ears at the shout. "This boy is not the 9 tails. He is a 9 tails. Specifically, he is the new 9 tails out of the 9-tailed beasts," Hiruzen stated. He spent the next hour explaining exactly what had happened, leaving out only the details that connected Kushina and Naruto to Minato, as he was not yet willing to reveal to the world that the legendary Yellow Flash had a vulnerable child. Silence fell across the chamber as he finished his explanation. Everyone was processing this information. A moment later, it had sunk in and everyone reacted, but pleasing and infuriating the aging Hokage. Hokage-sama, it is obvious that Yandame-sama did this so that the beast would be weak enough to kill. We must slay it now, cried the gaunt civilian from before. Are you mad? Roared Chozo Akimichi. If Minato wanted that, why would he seal all the beast's power into the boy? Oh please, it is clear that the noble ninja Kushina sacrificed her own child to allow us to kill the beast. Would you want to spit at her last wish? Came the smug reply of an unusually well-built and quite handsome member of the Jonin Council. Jonin Haruno, you cannot possibly be going along with this insane idea to kill the boy, are you? For goodness sake, you know how sealing works. Hayashi replied, trying to keep up his polite and regal mask in the face of his building rage. Haruno scoffed. Yes, I do know how sealing works, but Hokage-sama said himself, the boy is not a Jinchuriki. He isn't a human containing a demon, he is a human turned into a demon by the beast's power. The power isn't sealed inside him, I can tell that from here. It is perfectly melded with his chakra system. Look with your Byakugan Hayashi, you will see it for yourself. Silence! Hiruzen yelled, getting another whimper from Naruto, whom was starting to squirm and whine due to the negative emotions he could feel. You are right, Jonin Haruno, Naruto is not a Jinchuriki, but he is not a demon either. The tailed beasts are sentient chakra constructs. Naruto's soul has replaced that of the 9 tails, so it stands to reason that he must be treated as his own being and not merely a whipping boy for the old fox. Well, then what shall we do with the boy? His mother is comatose. We don't know who the father is, and even if we did, we couldn't trust him with the new 9 tails, so what can we do? Hamura, one of the elders asked. Danzo cleared his throat. May I suggest allowing me to take the child? I can train him to be a ninja and in the process create a powerful and loyal weapon for the Leaf Village. Think of it. Most villages need to use Jinchuriki to control their beasts, and that can take years if they manage at all. We, on the other hand, have a new tailed beast ripe for molding. Think of it, an immortal and near omnipotent soldier of the Hidden Leaf. We would never be threatened again. Hiruzen and the clan heads scowled, but many of the Jonin saw the wisdom in this, and the civilians simply wanted the boy either dead or under complete control, so they supported the idea. For once, Danzo, I partially agree with you, Hiruzen said, earning the shock of Kakashi and the clan heads. Danzo smirked until the dreaded but was voiced. While I agree with your results, I do not agree with your methods. Naruto will indeed be raised to be a ninja of the leaf like his mother, but he will be given the choice and allowed his free will. Now all that remains is to decide who takes care of him. No! Shouted one of the Jonin, a fat bearded man with blotchy red skin. The sudden yell was the last straw for little Naruto, whom yowled and wriggled so much that he fell from the Hokage's arms and landed on the floor in front of the Jonin Council. My son was killed in the fox attack. I won't let even a tiny part of that beast remain on this earth, he roared. In an instant, the fat Jonin threw a kunai at Naruto and would have skewered the kid if a shuriken thrown by Kakashi hadn't knocked it off course, causing it to clatter to the floor beside Naruto. Hiruzen looked at the Jonin with a face like thunder. Umbu! Take this fool to the TNI division. Make sure to let them know that he tried to murder an innocent child. 3A and BU quickly surrounded the Jonin and restrained him, but the man simply spat at the Hokage's feet and laughed. Do what you want to me, you old fool. I got my revenge. He cackled as he was dragged from the room. Hiruzen frowned at the words. The Jonin's weapon missed. How could he have gotten his revenge? Unless, Hokage-sama. The kunai! Kakashi yelled, already rushing forward. Hiruzen looked to Naruto, whom was looking at the kunai and the strange paper tag wrapped around it. Naruto! Before Kakashi or the Hokage could reach it, the tag exploded and engulfed young Naruto in flames. The explosion shook the Hokage tower and caused all the ninja in the area to run towards the council chamber. One Chunin threw open the door and caused the smoke of the explosion to billow out. Hokage-sama, what happened? He asked, seeing the form of the third Hokage standing with a look of shock on his face. The Chunin looked to see what has shocked not only the Hokage, but the entire Leaf Council. Lying next to a small crater in the reinforced floor of the chamber was Naruto, the golden-furred 9-tailed kit, looking around at the humans in the room with his little paws holding down his big floppy ears. Surrounding the boy was a thick veil of white chakra, which was flickering like white fire around Naruto. Hiruzen recovered from his shock first, and dashed forward to cradle Naruto in his arms. Naruto! Thank goodness you're all right. What on earth happened? Hiruzen asked, mostly to himself. That strange chakra seems to have protected him from the blast. Hayashi stated, his Byakugan activated. On the other side of the clan council, another man had his dojutsu active. Fugaku, head of the Uchiha, was examining the chakra closely with his Sharingan. That chakra is like nothing I've ever seen. It looks like a bizarre blend of tailed beast chakra and something else. What is that something else? Inoichi Yamanaka asked as he watched Kakashi step toward the Hokage and pet the baby fox in his arms. Fugaku paused before swallowing hard. Believe it or not, it actually feels like the chakra of my clan mixed with that of the Senju. Now that was good for a mini uproar right there. That can't be possible. Are you certain, Uchiha-sama? Koharu, the teammate of Hiruzen and Hamura, asked. I'm not 100% sure, as I only saw Senju chakra with my Sharingan once, and that was when Tsunade was still in the village, but I think it is. Somehow, this boy is releasing the chakra of not only a tailed beast, but also a mix of the Leaf's two founding clans, Fugaku said, too shocked to be angry that a random baby had similar chakra to his illustrious clan. Before anyone else could comment on the strange phenomena, the white chakra began to pour from Naruto like a waterfall and pooled on the floor in front of the Hokage. Once the chakra stopped flowing, it roared up like fire and formed into two shapes. The shapes look solid, like the people in the room, but their outlines seemed to occasionally waver and flicker like flame. One form was scarily familiar, that of the original nine-tailed fox, scaled down to the size of a human, and with his orange fur turned pure white. The second figure was an old man in white robes decorated with black tomo. The man had ashen gray skin and deep, grayish-red hair with a matching beard that seemed to flow all the way to his feet. Most shockingly was his face. His eyes were purple and ringed, and he had two horns on his forehead with a strange red eye-like symbol between them. In the old man's hand was a long staff with a shakujo on one end and a crescent moon on the other. What on earth is going on now? Hiruzen half-yelled as he leapt towards the council so that the two apparitions weren't between the Hokage and the other ninja in the room. We're here to make sure you dumb humans don't stick your heads up your asses when it comes to my successor, yelled the apparition of Kurama. Now Kurama, we should speak respectfully when meeting new people, don't you think? The old man said, his voice carrying an unnatural echo. You are Kurama the Nine Tails? How are you here? Minato sealed your soul into the Shinigami. And who is this man? Hiruzen asked, keeping on guard with one hand tightly holding the still glowing Naruto and another holding a kunai. The old man smiled and bowed his head to the Hokage. There is much to explain. I, along with Kurama here, are merely souls powered by what remains of our chakra. For Kurama, that is not much, but for me, it is a fair amount, though much less than I had in life. Think of me as merely an apparition or ghost that will soon fade once his purpose is complete. The man said. Yes, but who are you? Kakashi asked, placing himself between Naruto and the two spirits. The old man chuckled. I am Hagoromo Otsutsuki, known to the world of ninja as the Sage of the Six Paths. Okay, now I know this isn't real. Shikaku Nara groaned as he rubbed his eyes. Did I fall asleep again? No, you did not. I am real, and I am here to give you the information you will need if you wish to keep young Naruto both alive and happy, Hagoromo stated. And why would we care if the creature is alive or happy? Hundreds of people were killed by that beast. It deserves to die. One of the few female civilians yelled. Hagoromo fixed her with a glare. Firstly, it was not Naruto but his predecessor Kurama that killed those people, and he didn't even have control of himself. If he did, then you would not have been attacked. As for your question, since Naruto is now a tailed beast, he cannot be truly killed. If he dies, he will simply reform after a short time, and since Naruto is a tailed beast with a human soul, he will reform much quicker. Now I'm sure you can all see why upsetting an immortal and immensely powerful creature would be a bad idea, he explained before using his Rinnegan to place a genjutsu on her and the rest of the civilians, causing them all to fall unconscious. There, now that the children are asleep, the adults may speak. Heh, sage or not, I'm starting to like this guy. Some grinned. Be that as it may, Hagoromo Otsutsuki, if that is really who you are, you stated that the Nine Tails wasn't in control of himself. Can you elaborate? Danzo asked. For all his faults, the man really did care for his village, and if someone other than the fox orchestrated this attack, then there would be hell to pay. In order to do this, I must briefly explain a few things about my family. I am one of two brothers born from Kagaya Otsutsuki, the first wielder of Chakra. She devoured a chakra fruit from a sacred tree which gave her this power. After my brother, Hamura, and I were born, Mother grew mad, unable to deal with the fact that someone other than her now wielded her precious chakra, as it has passed through her blood to us. She fused herself with the sacred tree and became the 10 Tails. My brother and I were able to defeat her and seal her up, taking the chakra of the 10 Tails and placing it inside me while the husk of her body was sealed into the moon. My brother departed to the moon not long after, but left his children behind. His twin daughters were the originators of the Hyuga and Kagai clans and each inherited one of my mother's bloodlines, the Byakugan and the Dead Bone Pulse. I on the other hand awakened the Sharingan which evolved into my Rinnegan. I had two sons, Indra and Azura, whom founded the Uchiha and Senju clans respectively. The Senju and their offshoot clan, the Uzumaki, inherited my strong body while the Uchiha inherited the Sharingan. Lastly, I used my power to split the 10 Tails chakra into the 9-tailed beasts and released them into the world. The council was in stunned silence, leaving only the sounds of Naruto's mewling. Hayashi was the first to recover. So, the Hyugas share a common ancestor with the Uchiha and Senju? And who could have guessed that the barbaric Kagaya clan held the bloodline of the Mother of Chakra? It certainly puts some things in perspective, but it doesn't answer Danzo's question. What does this story have to do with the 9 Tails attack? Haruno frowned. Hagoromo sighed. You will not like this. Unlike Hamura, I did not inherit my mother's Byakugan but instead received the Sharingan which combined with my powerful body to form the Rinnegan. Because I used a portion of my Rinnegan's power to divide the tailed beasts from the 10 tails, they all have a connection with my eyes. Put simply, anyone with a Rinnegan can perfectly control a tailed beast, and someone with the Sharingan, or the more potent Mangekyo Sharingan, could either suppress or loosely control the beasts. Kurama has already confirmed to me that a Sharingan user was the one to control him and make him attack. Fugaku leapt to his feet with rage in his spinning red eyes. Now wait just a second. Why would an Uchiha attack our own village? This is our home as much as it is anyone else's, and yet the most famous threat to ever challenge the Leaf Village was Madara Uchiha. This village was his home too, he even helped found it, but he still attacked it. Plus, you Uchiha haven't shut up about your supposedly declining power since the reign of the second Hokage. Danzo stated. Unease drifted through the council. Everyone knew that the Uchiha, Fugaku included, were hot-headed, and an insult, even an imagined one, could cause them to blow up, which in the setting of the council chambers, could result in a messy conflict. Jonin Harino, who has long desired to have a part of the Uchiha clan's power, quickly came to Fugaku's defense. Danzo-sama, Uchiha-sama, there is no need for us to fight. Hagoromo-sama merely said the Sharingan was needed. Perhaps an Uchiha missing nin or someone with a transplanted Sharingan could be the culprit, Harino said, looking pointedly at Kakashi. There are no Uchiha missing nin. Everyone that has ever defected has been caught. Not only that, but we have accounted for every killed Uchiha's eyes. The only one we never discovered was the right eye of Obito Uchiha, but due to how the boy died, the eye would have been crushed. Danzo said, hiding his smugness. What about Kakashi then? He has a Sharingan, and could have done it. Harino said, making Kakashi growl at him. Hagoromo, tired of this arguing, tapped his staff on the ground. The young man did not do this. Kurama knows the chakra of the one who did this and has confirmed that they were 100% Uchiha. Unfortunately, he was not in contact with his chakra long enough to be able to give a guaranteed match to any individual. The whos and whys can be discovered by you at a later date. For now, my chakra is dwindling, so I must do what I came for and leave. Someone bring me a scroll, he instructed. One of the other Jonin counselors, who had been silent to this point, pulled out large scroll from his back and handed it to the Hokage. Hiruzen opened it up and held it out to Hagoromo. The sage of the 6 paths promptly placed his hands on the scroll and writing began to appear, until every part of the scroll was filled with the sage's fluid handwriting. This scroll now contains information on how to raise a young-tailed beast, especially one with a human soul. The day-to-day needs of Naruto are described within, as well as explanations of his powers, or at least a vague idea of what his powers are. I will be creating a special seal on Naruto's soul that will allow him to freely communicate with Kurama's spirit. It will also allow him to communicate with his new brothers and sisters once he gets a bit of control over his power. Speaking of Kurama's spirit, you still haven't explained why he is not sealed in the Shinigami's stomach. Hiruzen pointed out as he wrapped up the scroll. Kurama grinned. Ha! The Shinigami can't contain the soul of a tailed beast. It can hold our chakra or even a part of our soul, but not all of it. When Minato Namikaze used the seal, the Reaper couldn't take my soul completely and I was shot back through the void to where my father's spirit was. You should be glad, thanks to that, the Shinigami couldn't complete his part of the deal and had to release Namikaze's soul. Unfortunately, its link with his body was severed, so now the soul is stuck inside a body it can't move. But hell, maybe the kid will be able to do something about it. I bet he could help his mom too, since it was the shock of my extraction after childbirth that put her in her own coma. So we could get Kushina-sama and Yandame-sama back? Kakashi asked excitedly. It is within the realm of possibility. Now I must place the seal on Naruto. He will likely need Kurama's guidance in the future. Trust in this boy. He will do more than you can ever imagine, Hagoromo said, wearing a proud smile as he gently placed a finger on Naruto's chest. The kanji for 9 appeared for a moment before vanishing. The seal is in place. Now, my chakra is nearly gone and Kurama is likely in the same boat. I bid you all farewell. Hagoromo bowed his head, before his body began to disappear into the white chakra that spawned it. The 9 tails fixed the Gather Ninja with a stern eye. Let me give a warning that the old man was too soft to. We tailed beasts were not born demons. It was the humans who used and abused us that made us demons. If you do the same to Naruto, he will become a threat beyond your power, as unlike a normal tailed beast, you can't seal him up. He has a human soul and human blood. Remember that. And if anyone messes with him, I'll hunt them down in the afterlife and rip apart their souls. That last threat made the whole room pale and allowed Kurama to disappear with a grin and an evil chuckle. The last of the white chakra vanished and Naruto stopped glowing before falling asleep, apparently exhausted by all the activity. After the ninja of the council had time to recover, Sarutobi made everything that followed Hagoromo knocking out the civilians in SSS rank secret, and surprisingly, everyone agreed, even Fugaku, Danzo and Harino. Wanting the meeting to finally be over, Hiruzen released the genjutsu on the civilians, which was actually as weak as could be, a testament either to Hagoromo's limited chakra as a ghost, or his self-restraint. Ugh, what happened? Asked the gaunt counselor, groggily getting back to his feet. Hagoromo-sama placed us all in a genjutsu after that explanation. We came to a short time ago, but he was gone. He left only this scroll on how to care for Naruto. Hiruzen lied, and Noichi nodded. Speaking of Naruto, what shall we do with him? We still need someone to raise him? How about Uchiha-sama? One civilian asked. Everyone but Fugaku frowned. No way were they going to give a tailed beast to someone who could so easily control it. Fugaku already has 2 sons, including a newborn only a little older than Naruto. It would be unfair to make him raise a 3rd child, especially one with such delicate circumstances, Hiruzen said, smoothly hiding the real reason from the civilians. Danzo then proceeded to further shock Hiruzen by coming up with a fairly good idea. Why not the Hyuga? Hayashi has no children of his own yet, and the Hyuga's Byakugan can easily detect if the boy's chakra is taking any negative turns. And if he does get out of hand, their gentle fist could subdue the boy with minimal harm to his person. And finally, their own high status would protect the boy from outside threats. Hiruzen nodded. That makes the most sense to me. Hayashi, would you be okay with this? The Hyuga head nodded. My wife, Hikari, is 7 months pregnant, and we are preparing to raise a child already, so it would be easy to make room for Naruto. Plus, we were friends of his mother's. We would happily take him if there are no objections. The council couldn't find any fault with it, and the ignorant civilians, whom had no knowledge of Hayashi's true, softer nature or his wife's extreme kindness, just assumed that the boy would be strictly controlled and thoroughly punished under the stern Hyuga. And so, after a long day, Hayashi Hyuga followed by Kakashi Hatake and Hiruzen Sarutobi returned to the Hyuga estates, where his wife was waiting to welcome another new child into the world. 5 years had passed since the fateful night of the Nine Tails attack, and the Hidden Leaf village had changed a lot. It hadn't been difficult to repair the damage done to the buildings, but the damage done to the people, civilian and ninja alike, had been much more difficult to heal. Within days of Hayashi and Hikari Hyuga taking in young Naruto as their ward, it has been spilled to everyone in the village exactly who and what the boy was. This, along with the revelation that a Sharingan wielder had caused the incident, had sent much of the Leaf into a sort of social civil war. Many civilians repeated called for Naruto to be killed for the actions of Kurama, as they refused to believe that the Uchiha would ever betray their home. The Uchiha themselves were furious that someone had dared accuse them of the crime, and their hatred had extended to the little fox boy. Only Itachi Uchiha had seen the truth of the matter, and he tried to steer his little brother Sasuke down the right path, much to the chagrin of their father. The last faction against Naruto were much closer to home though, the Hyuga Council of Elders. The elders had at first been enraged that the Hokage would force them to adopt the boy into their illustrious clan, but that had been placated when Hayashi made it clear that Naruto was their guest and ward, not a clan member. Then, the elders had tried to have the boy placed into the branch family with Hizashi Hyuga and his young son Niji, claiming that it was beneath the main house to care for some random child. Hayashi had been sure to let them know exactly what he thought about that, and such a tirade of foul language had never been heard from the man before. Of course, not everyone was against Naruto. Hayashi and the other clan heads, Sans Fugaku, all loved the boy and made sure to raise him well. Their children became fast friends with him, especially little Hinata and young Kiba. The other ninja of the village were also supportive, especially those of Kakashi's generation, and they would frequently protect the boy when he would go out on his own outside the Hyuga compound. To the surprise of many, Danzo became a major supporter of Naruto, citing that if he could not control and mold the boy as he wanted, he could at least make sure Naruto knew that he was a friend and a vital part of maintaining the Leaf's safety. As for Naruto himself, he had proven to be full of surprises. According to Hagoromo's scroll, the boy didn't need to eat, drink or sleep to survive, yet he did all 3 of those things as often as he could. He had also slowly developed the ability to walk and talk, as well as transform his fox body back to his original human form whenever it suited him. All in all, Naruto was a happy-go-lucky child and had many friends, but it was always in the back of his mind that he was to be a hero, a great person and savior of the Leaf. Danzo and many of the Leaf's ninja and clan heads had instilled this in him from a young age, while Hinata and Hiruzen had kept him humble. It would not be long before Naruto was first called a hero. In fact, it happened when he was only 3 years old. 3 years after Naruto's birth, Naruto happily padded along beside Hinata as she made her way to the main household's dining hall for her birthday celebration. The little fox had been close to Hinata since her birth and had rarely left her side, much to Hinata's happiness. Hinata-chan, we need to hurry or we won't get food, Naruto said, hopping about in fox form. His human form was the normal size and shape for a 3-year-old boy, but his fox form was around the size of a common garden fox, with the exception of his 9 fluffy tails. Naruto-kun, they won't run out for a long time and father won't let them start without me. Hinata giggled, walking slowly since she wasn't as sure on her feet as her furry companion was. Man, I need to find a way to turn you into a fox. Foxes move so much faster than human 3-year-olds. Naruto teased, hopping and leaping about, earning more giggles from Hinata. I don't think the elders would like that. You cause enough trouble on your own. Came a familiar voice. Naruto and Hinata looked up to see Hayashi standing outside the door to the dining hall, wearing a bemused smile on his face. "Come now, you two, we have cake and sweets of all kinds, and if you don't hurry, your mother may eat them all herself." Naruto and Hinata giggled and ran to Hayashi so they could enjoy their meal. It wasn't as extravagant as one would normally expect of a Hyuga dinner party, but that was merely because not as many people were there. The Hidden Cloud village had sent a delegation to the Leaf to sign a peace treaty, and pretty much the whole village was watching the parade that was happening on Main Street. Only the Hyuga weren't present as they preferred to celebrate the birthday of their heiress. The little party went very well. Naruto stuffed his face by using his 9 tails like extra hands to grab food, while Hinata and her parents laughed. When it was time for presents, Hinata carefully opened each one and graciously thanked the one that had given it to her. From her parents, she had received a beautiful new kimono that was styled in a similar fashion to her mother's formal kimonos. From Niji and her uncle, she received a new training uniform, as she would soon begin formal training in the gentle fist style. And lastly, from Naruto, she got a special photo album to display the flowers she pressed along with a set of gardening tools made just for kids. All in all, it had been a successful party, and by the end, the children were asleep on their feet. We should be putting them to bed. They'll have a busy day visiting with the other clans tomorrow. Hikari smiled, her long, dark blue hair brushed neatly behind her ear. "Yes, I think you are right," Hayashi replied, watching as Hinata clung to Naruto's fur to keep herself standing. "Come now, children, bedtime," he said, scooping them both up into his arms. Across the room, Hizashi was doing the same thing with Niji and was about to leave the room when he was stopped by some elders. Hayashi knew what this meant. They were prepared to seal Niji. Hayashi frowned and shook his head. There was nothing he could do for his brother and nephew. He looked down at the dozing faces of Naruto and Hinata. "Maybe they will find a way to lift this curse from our clan," he thought before taking them both to Hinata's room and tucking them into bed. Naruto had originally had a room of his own, but since Hinata was born, the little fox had always curled up with her, so his room has been converted into the children's playroom. Hayashi stooped to kiss his daughter on the forehead, and then gently ran his fingers through Naruto's fur with a silent goodnight. It would be several hours later, not long after midnight, that things would go south. With the entire compound fast asleep minus a few tired guards, it was simple for a prepared ninja to stealthily slip into the compound, his entire form covered by black garb to further help him meld into the shadows. The intruder carefully crept to the room he knew to belong to the Hyuga heiress and easily slipped in the window. With a sinister smirk behind his mask, the man bent over the bed to retrieve his prize when he was suddenly given pause. Staring up at him from beside the Hyuga heiress were a pair of brilliant blue eyes. A toy fox, the man thought. He got his answer when Naruto leapt at him, claws extended and tails flailing wildly as he cried, growled and yelped as loud as he could while attacking the man. The intruder did his best to shut the fox up and was finally able to punch the fox boy off of his face, though he received a long gash to his face courtesy of Naruto's claws. With his mask in tatters from the assault, Naruto looked at the man and saw the glisten of a headband. Knowing that this man was an enemy ninja, Naruto called upon his chakra, making his tails extend and wrap around the shinobi, leaving him immobile. Seconds later, Hayashi and a small army of Hyuga guards stormed into the room and witnessed what had happened. The enemy ninja, revealed to be the Hidden Cloud ambassador, was struggling furiously against Naruto's tails, but thanks to the tailed beast's chakra, they were as tough as steel. Hinata was wrapped in another of Naruto's tails, but it was a comforting embrace as the startled cries of Naruto had scared her to tears. "Naruto, what happened here?" Hayashi asked, trying to keep his temper under control. "I woke up because I felt something weird. When I opened my eyes, I saw this ninja leering at Hinata. I could feel his bad intentions, so I attacked him. When I saw his headband, I tied him up," Naruto explained, growing and puffing up his fur to make himself look scarier to the captured ninja. "The brat is lying," the Cloud Ninja yelled. "I was celebrating the treaty on the main street when this creature came and kidnapped me. Make him release me before he eats me." Hayashi scowled and backhanded the Cloud Ninja. "Don't bother levying such pointless accusations. We are taking you to the TNI department, and they will get the truth from you," he declared as the Hyuga guards moved to block the captive man's tenketsu, so Naruto could safely release him into Hayashi's custody. "You'll regret this, you damned Hyuga," the ninja yelled. Hayashi merely scoffed and turned to the two children. "I need to go to the Hokage and make sure that villain will be locked up tight. Naruto, thank you for saving my daughter, you are truly a hero. Now I want you to take Hinata to her mother. You two will sleep in her room tonight while I sort this out," Hayashi said, giving Naruto a pat on the head. Naruto gave a foxy grin and blushed a bit at the praise before gently leading the still frightened Hinata to her mother. The present. Following that incident, the fourth Raikage himself came to the Hidden Leaf to answer for his ninja's crimes. To the surprise of the Leaf, however, Raikage angrily killed the ninja, declaring him a traitor. Apparently the Cloud Ninja had been acting at the behest of a small, secret collection of Cloud Council members, who were carrying on the bloodline-obsessed ways of Ice Father. In order to keep Naruto a secret from the Cloud, Hiruzen and the Leaf Council presented Hayashi as the one who captured the rogue ninja, and I thanked the man for sparing his life, even though Hayashi would have killed the man in an instant were it not for Naruto, so that a political backlash could be avoided. Finally, the Raikage reaffirmed the terms of the treaty and gave a small monetary gift to the Hyuga as an apology before leaving. As soon as the Raikage had gone, Hiruzen announced to the village that it was Naruto who had saved Hinata and captured the enemy ninja, which earned him much praise from the Leaf Ninja and bitter scoffs from the civilians. To reward Naruto, he was given the payment for a solo S-rank mission and had the mission placed on his official shinobi record. At 3 years old, Naruto had already completed an S-rank. That wasn't the only reward he got, of course, but it would be quite a while before he realized the effect his gallant rescue had on the young Hyuga heiress. Naruto! Hikari shouted, as she slowly waddled around the Hyuga compound with Hinata in tow. Hikari was heavily pregnant with her second child, and the now 5-year-old Hinata was looking forward to meeting her new sibling. A blonde boy with shining blue eyes and whisker marks on his cheeks popped out from the ceiling, landing in front of Hikari. "You called Auntie Hikari?" Naruto grinned, his 9 tails swaying behind him. Even in his human form, Naruto commonly kept the ears and tails of his fox form, as it required a lot more chakra to hide the tails, and Hinata loved his ears. Hikari nodded. "We are going to the hospital," she instructed. "Oh. Is the baby ready?" Naruto asked, gently putting a hand on the bump on Hikari's stomach. "I'm afraid not," the Hyuga matriarch said sadly. "We are going to visit Mikoto Uchiha and her sons, to pay our respects." Instantly, Naruto and Hinata stiffened. They knew that meant someone had died. They had experienced it when one of the Hyuga elders died, and it had been a sad affair that neither wanted to experience. Still, Naruto obediently fell into line with Hinata and followed Hikari, as she slowly made her way to the hospital, maintaining his human form so as not to cause unnecessary hysteria among the civilians, especially since his fox form had grown to the size of German Shepherd. When they arrived at the hospital, the medic Nin at the front desk led them to the room where the Uchihas were being kept. Outside the door to the room was the third Hokage, Danzo Shimura, and the other clan heads. "Hokage-sama, I'm here to pay respects to Mikoto and her boys," Hikari said, bowing her head a bit. "Ah, Hikari. It was good of you to come, especially in your condition," Hiruzen replied. "It was the least I could do. Mikoto and I were on the same genin team as children." "Please, Hokage-sama, tell me what happened," Hikari asked. The Hokage nodded and directed everyone into an empty room next to the Uchiha's room. He and Danzo then quickly put up privacy seals. "What I am about to tell you must not leave this room. Only the Elder Council, the Clan Council, and Hikari Hyuga are to know about this," Hiruzen began. "In that case, shouldn't Hinata and Naruto leave?" Inoichi pointed out. Hiruzen shook his head. "No. Young Sasuke Uchiha is going to need a lot of help to get over these events, and I want a couple of his peers to know the truth, so they can be his true friends. If we cover it up and then reveal the truth later, it may create fractures between him and them. Best at least a couple know from the beginning, and I trust these two the most." Hinata and Naruto felt a bit of pride at being so well trusted by the Hokage, but remained silent as the old man explained. Since the Uchiha were accused of the Nine Tails attack 5 years ago, they have been losing both popularity and power among all groups within the village, excluding the civilians whom trusted them as their law enforcement. Not only that, but after the Hyuga affair 2 years ago, some have been whispering that the Uchiha helped the rogue Cloud Ninja as a way of weakening their greatest rival clan. There was no evidence to make this anything more than a vicious rumor, but it still had an effect. And so, with their power weakening, the Uchiha clan made a decision. Danzo continued on from Hiruzen. They planned a coup d'etat against the Hidden Leaf Village. "No way! Why would Fugaku allow such a thing? There is no way the Uchiha could win against the whole village," Choza half-yelled. "Unfortunately, the Uchiha felt they had been driven into a corner. I have been in negotiations with them to try and make them see reason, but I could not give them what they wanted, namely a much larger influence in the village, seniority over the other clans, and Naruto himself." Hiruzen frowned. "They wanted me," Naruto shouted. "Yes. They felt that as the new Nine Tails, you were responsible for the actions of the old one and by extension, the beginning of their steadily decreasing power. They wanted you as a weapon to rebuild their power," Danzo answered, patting the boy's head with his good arm. "Naturally we refused. So what exactly happened last night then?" Hikari asked. "What happened was one of the few loyalist Uchiha, Shursui Uchiha, took it upon himself to save the village from the Uchiha coup. He did this by massacring the entire clan. Only Mikoto and Sasuke were spared, and that was only due to Itachi being able to drive off his old friend. Itachi survived the encounter, but like his mother and brother, he was hurt in the fight." Hiruzen answered, his voice hollow as he looked out the window toward the village. "Shursui has since fled the village. We have our best ANBU chasing him, but our chances of recovering Shursui, dead or alive, is nearly nil." Everyone stared silently at the floor. Hinata cried quietly, feeling sorrow at such a great loss of life, while Naruto comforted her. The Uchiha had tried to use him as a weapon, but even knowing that, Naruto could not bring himself to hate them or curse the dead. "See, can we go next door now? To visit the survivors?" Naruto asked quietly, holding Hinata's hand tightly. Hiruzen smiled sadly and nodded, releasing the privacy seals so the small group could leave. Hikari led the children next door and knocked gently. Come in, came a female voice. Hikari opened the door and her smile faltered for a moment. Mikoto was sitting in a chair between her son's beds, a few bandages wrapped around her arms and one on her cheek. Itachi was on her right, with his left arm and leg wrapped up tight and held in slings. On Mikoto's left was Sasuke, whom was sitting up in bed and looking at his hands with a dark expression, the clear stains of tears on his cheeks. Hikari-chan, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming all this way, Mikoto said, smiling weakly. Oh. And you brought the little ones. At that, Sasuke and Itachi both looked towards the pregnant woman and the two children at her sides. Hi guys, Naruto said, trying his best to be cheerful in an attempt to cheer the Uchihas up. It is good to see you, Naruto-kun. Have you been taking care of yourself? Itachi asked, struggling to sit up. I'm okay. Hinata and I have been working hard in our training, so we'll be ready for the academy in a couple of years. How about you? Are you holding up okay? Naruto asked. Sasuke bristled. Our entire family has just been murdered by a traitor. How do you think we're holding up? Sasuke, it's not Naruto's fault. He's just trying to be considerate. Mikoto gently scolded. Mother is right, little brother. You should apologize. Itachi added, a bit more firmly than his mother. The younger Uchiha scoffed. If he wants to be considerate, he should offer to use his tailed beast's power to help us get revenge. Naruto frowned. Old man Hokage told me I must never use my powers for revenge. I don't want to be a monster. You already are a monster. You might as well be useful, Sasuke yelled. Naruto recoiled a bit and subconsciously wrapped his tails around himself. Hinata scowled. Hey, don't call him that. I'm sorry you had such a horrible thing happen to your family, but that doesn't give you the right to take it out on my Naruto-kun. Hinata shouted. Why your Naruto-kun? Naruto asked, blushing madly. Hinata instantly went beet red and backed up. What I meant was EP. Hinata promptly fainted, being caught by one of Naruto's tails. Mikoto and Hikari were distracted enough giggling at the two children that they didn't notice the glare Sasuke was giving Naruto, or the sad look that Itachi had for his brother. Please, Naruto-kun, I hope you have a better chance of helping Sasuke than I do, Itachi thought sadly. Only time would tell, however, as after the Uchiha were discharged from the hospital, they were moved into a wealthy apartment, and Itachi was made the new Uchiha clan head. The civilians promptly spoiled Sasuke rotten, much to the distaste of his mother and brother. 2 more years passed, and it was finally time for the new generation to start the academy. Iruka Umino, a chunin of the Hidden Leaf, stood at the front of his new class of students, a collection of 30 kids that he would be responsible for training for the next 5 years. Almost all the clan children were in his class, with only the Sarutobi clan's Konohamaru and the Hyuga clan's Hanabi not being present due to being too young. In addition, there were a few other prominent students, namely Sai, an orphan that Danzo had taken as an apprentice, Sakura Haruno, the niece of Jonin counselor Kisuke Haruno, and lastly, either the village hero, or the village pariah depending on who you asked, Naruto Uzumaki. The 7-year-old blonde boy was currently in his 100% human form, without ears or tail so as not to draw attention to him until he was ready. Iruka was conflicted over the boy. On the one hand, his parents had been killed in the previous Nine Tails attack. On the other hand, Naruto himself was innocent, and had gained a reputation as a lovable prankster with a heart of gold. Even knowing this, Iruka had been unsure of how to deal with the boy until a couple of civilian councilmen came to the academy and paid the teachers to make sure the boy failed, so he wouldn't grow stronger and endanger the village. That had set off Iruka's pride as a teacher, and he promptly refused before threatening and accusing the rest of the teachers to refuse as well. Whether he intended it or not, Iruka had firmly planted himself in the pro-Naruto camp of the village. Still, as Iruka looked at the mostly happy and chattering faces of the students, he felt at ease. All right everybody, it's time to get class underway. My name is Iruka Umino and I will be your sensei for the next 5 years. Now I would like everyone to give introductions. You don't need to tell us more than your name, but feel free to add details if you want. We will start with the front row. One by one, the civilian children and the children of less prominent ninja stood and introduced themselves with the odd 1 or 2 adding in their likes, hobbies and dreams. By the time it got to the final 10 students, only the prominent clan kids remained. A pale-skinned, dark-haired boy in plain black clothes stood up and bowed his head. My name is Sai. Hello? He said in a monotone before sitting down. Next to Sai, Sasuke stood up. I am Sasuke Uchiha, heir to the Uchiha clan, he said, ignoring the smitten looks he got from some of the girls as he sat back down. Next stood a pink-haired girl in a pale green shirt with a big red ribbon in her hair. I'm Sakura Haruno, she said with a happy smile before sitting back down and giving an even bigger smile to Sasuke. An annoyed-looking blonde girl in peach-colored shirt stood next. I'm Ino Yamanaka, heiress of the Yamanaka clan. And I hate those that don't take being a kunoichi seriously, she said with a scowl at Sakura. In truth, Ino was as much a fangirl as Sakura was, but she took her training seriously. The boy beside her and his head on the desk, his long black hair in a pineapple style. Not bothering to stand or even sit up, he just groaned. I'm Shikamura Nara. heir to the Nara clan. He said lazily, not bothered to add more. Next was a chubby little boy with red swirls on his cheeks, whom was idly chewing on a handful of potato chips. I'm Choji Akimichi, heir to the Akimichi. I hope we can be friends, he said with a nervous smile. As Choji sat down, a feral-looking child with red fang marks on his cheeks shot to his feet and jumped on the desk, a tiny white puppy barking happily from his hood. I'm Kiba Inuzuka. And I'm going to be the top dog of the Inuzuka clan in this class. Iruka shook his head as Kiba smirked and sat back down. Kiba was going to be trouble. With a sigh, Iruka gestured for the next boy to introduce himself. A hooded and trench coat wearing boy stood up, his eyes hidden by glasses. I am Shino Aburame. If you see any insects in this classroom, they are mine, so please don't kill them, he said quietly before sitting back down. Many of the class looked freaked out by Shino as Hinata stood to give her introduction. My name is Hinata Hyuga, heiress of the Hyuga clan. I hope we can all get along, she said, blushing and giving a small bow to the class. A few boys commented on how she was kind of cute, while others in the class silently wondered about her violet, pupilless eyes. Lastly, Naruto stood up, but to those that didn't know him, he looked boring compared to some of the strange people that went before him. Naruto gave a respectful bow. I am Naruto Uzumaki, a ward of the Hyuga clan, and he gained a mischievous grin as smoke surrounded his body. The smoke cleared to reveal the large, nearly pony-sized nine-tailed golden fox and the new and improved nine-tailed fox. The class quickly erupted into pandemonium as those that knew of Naruto's secret began to laugh, or glare in the case of Sasuke, while those that didn't began to panic and run for the door, or to hide behind Iruka-sensei. It took a few minutes before Iruka was able to calm the group. Honestly, Naruto, was that necessary? Iruka frowned. Hee, Uncle Hayashi said it would be a good idea to let everyone know straight away, so they wouldn't be surprised if I transformed by accident. Naruto smiled, still in his fox form. Iruka sighed again. He knew that Naruto would sometimes transform back into a fox on his own if he got too excited, so he couldn't fault the boy. Plus, most of the village already knew, though the students of his class hadn't known the fox boy would be in their class. Once Iruka made certain that everyone knew that Naruto was not a wild monster or a demon, he was finally able to start the brunt of the class. As it was only the first day, Iruka outlined to the children about the things they would learn from Taijutsu, Genjutsu and Ninjutsu to Bukijutsu and Fuinjutsu. Those 5 skills were a ninja's greatest tools, so they would need to be learned even if it was only enough to counter them. Once Iruka had outlined what each of the 5 skills meant, he had everyone go to the training yard for their assessment tests, which would decide what their personal rankings were. Okay class, as you know, each year group tracks and ranks its members based on all their scores. The top score in each year is given the title Rookie of the Year, while the top in each gender are given the title of either Top Shinobi or Top Kunoichi. The very lowest score will be named dead last. We will be doing these assessment tests every 10 weeks, so we can keep the scores accurate as you all grow. Now, hands up if you have already received some ninja training, Iruka asked. The clan heirs and those from ninja families all raised their hands, along with a few civilians which had likely had private tutors paid for by their parents. Surprisingly, despite being the niece of a ninja and being raised by him since her parents died, Sakura did not raise her hand. Okay, that's good. The assessment test will be fairly simple. Those without training will only watch for now and won't be assessed until the end of the term. Those with training will demonstrate their abilities with the 5 shinobi skills I described in class. Let's begin. The tests were fairly simple and to the point. For Genjutsu, no one could cast one yet, but most of the students could break out of a simple one within a minute. Sasuke and Hinata broke out the fastest while Kiba and Choji took the longest. Strangely, Naruto wasn't affected at all, since the constant shifting between his human and tailed beast chakra meant it was nearly impossible to place a genjutsu on him. For Fuinjutsu, almost no one could do anything with seals. Shikamaru was able to make a small storage seal and Naruto could mimic it successfully, which Iruka attributed to his Uzumaki blood. Bukijutsu, or more specifically Shurikenjutsu, was fairly impressive, with most students being able to hit the targets at least 50% of the time, even if they didn't get too close to the kill spots. Sasuke dominated this test and Naruto did average since he hadn't trained much in Shurikenjutsu. Then came the fun part for most of the students, the ninjutsu test. In order to help with this test, Iruka called for his teaching assistant and fellow chunin, Mizuki. The ninja-trained students were able to pull off 1 or 2 of the basic academy jutsu with a lot of effort, but it was the clan kids that did the best. Sasuke showed off his fire style, Fireball Jutsu, which had made everyone look on amazed at the flames, which could encompass a horse in size. Sai didn't say anything, but was able to turn his drawings to life, while Ino used her ninja art, Mind Transfer Jutsu, to take control of Sakura and make her do a silly dance, much to her annoyance. Shikamaru used Shadow Possession Jutsu to make Iruka mimic his moves, Choji used Partial Expansion Jutsu to make his hand grow huge, Kiba used the Tunneling Fang, though it made him dizzy, Shino merely directing a horde of his insects with his chakra, and Hinata activated her Byakugan. Iruka clapped along with this and turned to Naruto. Okay Naruto, you're up. Please show us any and all jutsu you can perform. Irika ordered. Naruto nodded and grinned. First he transformed back into his fox form, then again into his human form. Then he used substitution to swap places with Irika. Lastly, he turned into his fox form again and created a small blue fireball on the end of each tail, which he could freely move and control. I can't show you it, but I can also use the tailed beast bomb. Though it's pretty small, it would still do a lot of damage if I'm not careful, Naruto said, turning back into a human. His sensei smiled. I'm glad you chose to show restraint. However, even without that bomb of yours, you would still be the top-ranked student in ninjutsu with the most successful jutsus cast. Well done. Now, everybody get ready for the Taijutsu test. We will be doing a boys' tournament and a girls' tournament, but remember that in later years, you will be expected to fight ninja of the opposite gender. All the students gave a call of yes sensei before moving to the ring where the fights would take place. The girls' tournament would go first, since there were only 4 girls in the class with ninja training. The first round matched Ino and Hinata against 2 privately trained civilian girls, but they were no match for the heiresses and were quickly ejected from the ring. Then came the match between Ino and Hinata. The 2 girls had been friends since they were little, due to their mutual rank of heiress, and were quite close, despite Hinata being shy and reserved while Ino was loud and liked to be the center of attention. Okay girls, begin, Irika declared. Ino made the first move while Hinata got in her stance. The blonde girl kicked at Hinata's leg, trying to unbalance her, but Hinata simply shifted her stance, causing Ino to miss. Ino hadn't expected this, so she lost her balance, allowing Hinata to strike forward and block a tenketsu in the other girl's arm. Ino growled, no longer able to move her right arm properly, but she still pressed on, keeping her struck arm in a guarding position while striking with her left in a flurry of punches. Hinata skillfully blocked or redirected each blow, and as soon as she saw an opening, she shot forward and landed 3 direct strikes, 1 to each of Ino's untouched limbs. The sudden stiffness in her arms and legs left Ino unable to move quickly enough to avoid the double-palmed thrust which knocked her out of the ring. Winner, Hinata Hyuga. Well done to both of you. Irika smiled. Now it's time for the boys' matches. Since we have an odd number of boys, Mizuki will spar with one of you and will let you advance if he thinks you did well enough. Hinata helped Ino to her feet and unblocked her tenketsu, before going over to Naruto to wish him luck. Naruto-kun, if you win the tournament, I'll treat you to ramen, Hinata said with a teasing grin, loving how Naruto's eyes lit up at the thought of his favorite food. You're on, Hinata-chan, Naruto declared as he stepped towards the ring with the other boys. The first round matches were fairly disappointing. Sasuke fought Shino and the bug user surrendered after seeing that Sasuke was more than skilled enough to win, and Shino didn't want to be pointlessly injured. Kiba fought Sai and it was another quick match, since Sai barely tried to fight and allowed himself to be thrown from the ring without laying a hand on Kiba. Shikamaru fought Choji, but since both boys were good friends and Shikamaru knew Choji didn't have it in him to hurt a friend, then Nara boy surrendered, allowing Choji to move forward. Then there came the fight between Naruto and Mizuki. Mizuki could barely contain his smirk at the thought of accidentally giving the fox boy a good beating. And he'd been given the opportunity by one of the boy's own supporters, Irika. Naruto glared at Mizuki, sensing the foul emotions welling up inside the silver-haired man. Hey, Irika-sensei, we can't use ninjutsu or weapons in these spars, can we? He asked, formulating a plan. No, Naruto, this is taijutsu only, Irika replied. In that case, can I fight in fox form? That is my real form as much as this one is, and in a fight, I might accidentally swap into it anyway. The teacher looked into Naruto's eyes. There was the hint of scheme there, but not a lie. Do you know how to fight in fox form? I don't want you getting hurt trying to fight in a form you're not used to. He can fight just fine, Kiba said, getting impatient for his next fight. He trained his fox form taijutsu with our Inuzuka dogs. My mom trained him herself. Oh, then that's okay then. Naruto, you may fight as a fox. Irika smiled. Mizuki just scowled and rolled his eyes. It didn't matter which form he beat the kid in, actually, this was better. Now he could hurt the beast in the same form he had hurt others. Mizuki and Naruto stepped into the ring and Naruto transformed into his fox form and got into a stance like a wolf about to pounce with his teeth bared. Begin! Mizuki smirked and charged forward at speed that no academy student could match and threw a punch that could easily break the boy's jaw. Naruto ran forward, running beneath the punch and under Mizuki's legs. Once he was behind the man, Naruto quickly whipped his tails around, tripping Mizuki with one tail and smacking him into the ground with the other 8. Embarrassed and cringing at his now cracked ribs, Mizuki got back to his feet and actually examined Naruto closely. Unlike when he had transformed in the classroom, he was not the size of a small horse, but rather the size of a dog. The furious Chunin had to admit, Naruto was smart to pick a smaller, faster form that Mizuki would have a hard time to hit. Before Mizuki could attack again, he suddenly felt something warm on his ankle. Looking down, he saw the ends of one of Naruto's tails coming out of the ground and wrapping around his ankle. Oh crap! He cursed, but it was too late. With a might roar, Naruto swung his entire body, dragging Mizuki into the ground where his tail exited, through the tunnel he had dug and out the hole where the tail had entered, before releasing his hold at the apex of the throw, launching Mizuki into the trees at the edge of the training yard. Iruka and the students looked awestruck as they waited for Mizuki to pull himself from the tree he had struck. Once it was clear the man was conscious, Iruka smiled. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. A well-fought battle. It wasn't quite the Taijutsu fight I had hoped to see, but it showed intelligence. Good work. Naruto grinned and thanked Iruka before trotting over to stand with the other boys that won their first matches. The second round of fights began with Sasuke versus Choji, but it ended almost as quickly as the previous fights, as Choji was no match for Sasuke, whom seemed even angrier after watching Naruto defeat a Chunin, even if he used a trick to do it. The next fight, and the one to decide who would fight Sasuke in the final round, was Naruto versus Kiba. It was a longer battle than the last one, but not by much. Kiba and Naruto had sparred plenty of times during their training with Sim, but Kiba could never beat Naruto in fox form, as the boy's close resemblance to his family's dogs made Kiba reluctant to fully attack Naruto. Unfortunately for Kiba, his mother hadn't trained that out of him by the time he started the academy, so the battle was quick, with Naruto grabbing a sloppy punch in his jaws and then pulling Kiba to the ground, where a swift blow from his hind legs sent the Inuzuka skidding out of the ring. Now it was time for the battle between Naruto and Sasuke. Ever since the massacre 2 years before, Sasuke had been cold, ruthless, and at times arrogant. If he saw a powerful technique, he would demand he be taught it, and if the person refused, he would shout at them and claim they just hated him for being an Uchiha, since the red-eyed copycats had not been popular among the ninja of the village. Sasuke treated Naruto especially badly, as he blamed the boy for his family's declined power and the resulting failed coup that had killed them. Only Itachi's constant warnings served to stop Sasuke from seeing Naruto as another target for revenge. Iruka and the class could feel the animosity as the two boys entered the ring, with Naruto even turning back to a human to settle things man-to-man with the emotionally unstable Uchiha. Taking a deep breath and hoping for the best, Iruka brought his hand down. Begin! The moment Iruka's words entered the boys' ears, they both dashed forward, slamming their fists into each other. Sasuke was hit in the chest while Naruto took the blow to the face and was knocked off balance. Sasuke recovered first and promptly delivered a roundhouse kick to Naruto, sending him tumbling to the ground. Seeing his chance to end the fight, Sasuke immediately went to kick Naruto out of the ring, but his foot was easily slapped away. Naruto leapt to his feet and flipped over Sasuke, leaving a few scratches on the dark-haired boy's shoulders, courtesy of Naruto's clawed fingers. Both boys were now stood where the other had been when the fight started, and both were wounded. Naruto's lip was split from the first punch while Sasuke was tightly gripping the gently bleeding wound on his shoulder. Damn it, should have known a monster would have claws. Sasuke spat angrily. Naruto growled and entered a strange stance that looked like a mix of Hinata's gentle fist and Kiba's Inuzuka style. This is my fox paw style, which I created by adapting the Hyuga and Inuzuka style. Sasuke looked momentarily impressed before dropping into his interceptor style. Well, let's see if it's any match for my style, he said, making the first move. The two boys exchanged a rapid flurry of blows, with neither gaining a clear lead. The fox paw style used Naruto's palms to deliver light blows that injected a small amount of his chakra into the foe, similarly to the gentle fist. But unlike that style, the fox paw style didn't close tenketsu, but rather disrupted the target's chakra. It was most effective against ninjutsu and genjutsu users, but in a taijutsu match with an inexperienced ninja, the disruption to their chakra would disorient them enough to leave openings that Naruto could exploit. The interceptor fist, however, was designed with the Sharingan in mind and was used to find the smallest weakness in the target's stance before exploiting it. Despite both styles being powerful, they were unsuited to the current battle, as Sasuke was not inexperienced enough for the chakra disruptions to disorient him, and without the Sharingan, Naruto's tiny openings could not be spotted by anyone below a jonin. And so the exchange of blows continued for several minutes until Sasuke, growing frustrated, overextended a blow to Naruto's shoulder. Naruto rolled with the blow, allowing it to push him into a spin which added momentum to a double-palmed strike against Sasuke's side, which pushed him out of the ring. The clan children cheered while the civilians looked on in shock, with Sakura loudly complaining that Naruto's claws must be a jutsu. The winner is Naruto Uzumaki. For those arguing about his claws, like his fox form, those claws are a natural part of his body. To ban him from using them would be like banning you from using your fingers. Now boys, form the seal of reconciliation, Iruka instructed, smiling at Naruto. Naruto nodded and walked over to Sasuke, whom was still stood awestruck where he had been pushed. The blonde boy offered his fingers to form the seal, but Sasuke had other idea. Rapidly forming hand signs, Sasuke leapt back and roared fire style, Fireball Jutsu. The fireball burst from Sasuke's mouth and engulfed Naruto. Sasuke frowned as he remembered the look Naruto gave him. It was not a look of surprise or anger but disappointment. For a second, Sasuke felt ashamed, but that was cleared when Iruka shouted, Sasuke! What have you done? This isn't over. I refuse to lose to a monster, Sasuke roared. Just then, the fireball was knocked skyward, revealing Naruto in dog-sized fox form, the look of disappointment still in his eyes. Iruka-sensei, please allow us to continue this fight, Naruto asked evenly, not looking away from Sasuke's eyes. No way. This is an Academy Taijutsu spar, not a death match. Iruka yelled. Naruto gave Iruka a pleading look. Please, Iruka-sensei. If we don't do this now, these bad feelings will just fester. I won't use any killing blows, and even Sasuke kills me, it doesn't matter. I'm a tailed beast, I just reform. Iruka scowled and was about to argue when Mizuki, still wounded, put a hand on his shoulder. Iruka, we should let them do this, he said, barely hiding his hope for Sasuke to kill the boy. If those feelings fester in Naruto like he said, he'll become like the Nine Tails again. Naruto bit back a growl at Mizuki's intentions. Even if the corrupt Chunin was helping him, it didn't make Naruto feel good knowing why he was helping him. Iruka, on the other hand, still looked reluctant, but he didn't move to stop Sasuke when the Uchiha moved in the another attack. Sasuke was wielding two kunai now, and he proved adept at using them as he attacked Naruto like a whirlwind of blades. Naruto dodged backward and carefully weaved his tails around the other boy's swings before suddenly striking each of Sasuke's wrists with a small burst of chakra from the end of his tails, forcing Sasuke to drop his kunai. With himself outmatched in Taijutsu and Naruto immune to Genjutsu, Sasuke reverted back to his original plan of attack, which was to shoot fireballs. Unfortunately, Naruto was prepared for this and created his blue fox flames, which absorbed Sasuke's jutsu. Sasuke scowled and prepared another fireball, but he was interrupted when the blue fox flames changed shape. They all formed into small, ghost-shaped flames complete with small hands and cackling grins. Fox fire style, firefly spirits. Naruto roared before sending the fiery ghosts at Sasuke. The Uchiha was unable to dodge in time and the 9 blue projectiles shot through his body, doing no damage but burning away a large portion of Sasuke's molded chakra. What the hell did you do to me? Sasuke roared as he tried and failed to form more chakra. My firefly spirit's jutsu is made with fox fire. Fox fire can't burn the physical world, but can burn the spiritual. I burned away your chakra while leaving some of my own in your system. You won't be able to form more until you either force my chakra out, or I remove it, Naruto said, turning back to his human form. Sasuke screamed and cursed as he desperately tried to expel Naruto's chakra, but nothing he did worked. Mizuki scowled and left to get his own wounds healed while Iruka and his students looked on with pity as Sasuke tried to get back in the fight. They all knew about the massacre, and while none but Hinata and Naruto knew the true reason for it, they all agreed that it had deeply scared Sasuke, whom was already emotionally unbalanced thanks to Fugaka's influence. Sasuke, that is enough. I'll overlook your blatant attack this time, but I won't warn you again. Now come on, it's time to go inside, Iruka said, stepping forward to collect the Uchiha boy. Sasuke promptly ran away, not looking back as Naruto watched with sad eyes. Naruto could already tell by the spots on the ground that Sasuke was crying. With a deep breath, the fox made up his mind. It was time to end this pointless feud. Ignoring Iruka's shouts to return and Hinata's worried yells, Naruto raced off after Sasuke. Sasuke quickly noticed his follower and sped up, leading Naruto on a merry chase around the village. The chase led through the clan district, the market, and even the outer training grounds before ending at the top of the Hokage monument. Sasuke had led Naruto here, knowing that he merely had to leap into the trees below the monument, and he would be able to escape the infuriating blonde. Sasuke, wait! Don't jump! Naruto cried out, but Sasuke ignored him with a smirk and leapt from the edge of the third Hokage's stone head, ready to land in the trees below. Preparing for his landing, Sasuke began to channel chakra to his legs but suddenly froze. His chakra was still locked up by Naruto's technique. In his anger, Sasuke had forgotten that he couldn't mold chakra right now, and what chakra had been spared from Naruto's technique was just enough to stop him from being exhausted and nowhere near enough to safely survive this fall. Even if he pushed himself to the point of exhaustion, his legs would still be irreparably damaged. He'd live, but he'd never walk again. Time seemed to stop for the boy as he realized that, no matter what he did, all his ambitions and his ninja career would end here. His family would go unavenged and Shursui would go unpunished, and why? Because Sasuke had gotten upset during a spar on his first day at the academy. Maybe it's better to just let it end. It's not like I'd ever surpass Itachi anyway. I couldn't even beat Naruto, Sasuke thought as he closed his eyes and waited to embrace oblivion. Sasuke suddenly felt an incredible warmth, and the feeling of falling ended. For a moment, he thought it was over, that he had died, but that thought was washed away when he heard a crash and a yelp of pain. Opening his eyes, Sasuke found himself at the base of the cliff, surrounded by broken branches. The boy wasn't bleeding and he felt no pain. He could even move his limbs just fine. But how had he survived? Sasuke got the answer when he realized he was wrapped in 9 golden fox tails, all connected to Naruto, whom was in his half-human, half-fox form. Naruto's white t-shirt was ripped to shreds and he was covered in cuts and welts that looked like the impact marks of sticks and branches. His legs were folded under him and were covered in ethereal white chakra. What happened? Sasuke yelled. Well, when you're dumb but jumped off a cliff, I had to save you. But I panicked and didn't use enough chakra in my legs or save any of my tails for me to land on, so I broke them. I'm just healing them up. I guess being a monster has its advantages, Naruto said with a weak smile, even with his face cut up by falling into the branches. Sasuke just stared at Naruto. This dopey blonde boy had just nearly killed himself to save him, someone who had viciously attacked him no more than an hour ago. Naruto was covered in cuts and bruises and had 2 broken legs, yet he still smiled at the one who had caused it, and all without a hint of anger or malice for Sasuke. Why? Why would you do that? If it had been the other way around, I'd have left you to die. Sasuke yelled, pulling himself from Naruto's tails and stalking over to the blonde. Naruto just chuckled, making Sasuke even more confused. What's so funny? He demanded, grabbing Naruto by the collar. Sorry, but those are some stupid questions. Of course I saved you. You're a comrade of the Hidden Leaf. Besides, even if I got hurt, I'd heal, and if I died, I'd just reform later, so why does it matter? Naruto asked. You idiot! Sasuke yelled, shaking Naruto. Even if you reform, do you think life is that easy to just sacrifice? Do you think you're some kind of hero? Newsflash, idiot. There's no point saving someone who hates you. At that, Naruto's face became a picture of rage before punching Sasuke hard in the cheek. Sasuke recoiled but was caught by Naruto, whose legs had already healed. Stop being such an idiot. Do you really think it's easy to sacrifice my life? I may heal and I may reform from death, but I still feel pain, and let me tell you, that damn fall hurt like hell. Then why do it? Sasuke roared back. Because I am a ninja of the Hidden Leaf, Naruto declared. I may not have a headband yet, but I take this seriously. Being a ninja means being willing to die for the mission, for your village and for your comrades, even if your village and comrades hate you. A flash of pain appeared in the blonde's eyes. Ninja must always be willing to lay down their lives, even if they don't come back after like I do. But since I do come back and since I do heal, I can be the village's shield. I can make the sacrifice so my comrades don't have to die, so their loved ones don't feel the pain of their loss. I will bear all their pain, that is my ninja way. And let me tell you this, Sasuke, while I didn't like the Uchiha and I don't like you, I would have given my life with a smile if it meant saving even a single one of the innocents killed in that thrice-damned massacre. Now, for once in your life, stop being a stubborn ass and talk to me. I'm not as stupid as people think. I know people need to talk after suffering a lot of sadness, and I know you haven't talked to anyone. You've just hidden everything behind a facade of anger. Sasuke fell silent, watching with shocked eyes as Naruto panted, catching his breath and calming his rage. The wounds on Naruto's body were releasing steam as they rapidly healed, leaving his body in pristine condition. Despite what you've lost, Sasuke, you're still alive. You survived all that pain. Don't cause yourself more by denying your comrades. Tell me how you feel, and let me help you. The Uchiha felt a horrid feeling building in his eyes. It was not the awakening of his Sharingan. No, this was something much more shameful for an Uchiha. These were the hot tears of grief. After everything Sasuke had said and done to Naruto over the last 2 years since the massacre, and even before that, the dopey fox boy was still willing to listen to him and was outright demanding that Sasuke spill his true feelings. The look of genuine concern in Naruto's eyes pushed Sasuke too far, and finally, the dam of emotion that Sasuke had built finally caved in. I am just so sick of it all, Sasuke cried, tears beginning to fall. I spent my whole life trying to earn my father's respect and be as good as Itachi. I even began to hate you because I thought following in my father's footsteps would make him proud of me, but in the end it didn't matter. Now he's dead and Itachi refuses to help avenge him. Mother refuses to help avenge him. I have to be alone because no one will follow my path with me. That's not true, Sasuke, Naruto said gently, letting Sasuke go. Itachi and your mom just don't want you to go down the same sad path that the other Uchiha did. The third Hokage told me once that vengeance is like a curse. Even if you fulfill your desire for revenge, it will just pass on to someone else. Sometimes all you can do is just let the pain go. Even if you don't get revenge, think of what you do have. Your brother and mother love you, and even the civilians praise you and give you everything you could want. Sasuke scoffed at that. Sure, the civilians may love me and think I'm going to single-handedly bring fame to the village, but the ninja despise me. They all think I'm just going to be another arrogant jutsu thief. Naruto began to laugh a bit, confusing the raven-haired boy. What's so funny about that? Well, for me it's the opposite. The ninja of the village love me and think I'm a hero waiting to happen while the civilians think I'm a monster just waiting to kill them all. Naruto laughed. Even Sasuke had to laugh at the irony it. Here they were, 2 boys that were loved by one half of the village and hated by the other half. They were both praised for things they hadn't yet done and hated for crimes they never committed. TCH, look at us, the losers of the leaf. Hey, you got that right. But still, it's up to us to decide what we'll become. Whether we become heroes, monsters, jutsu thieves or something else entirely, it's our choice. But just because it is our choice, doesn't mean we have to make it alone. Naruto smiled, offering his hand to Sasuke. What do you say? Do you think we could be friends? Sasuke looked at the outstretched hand skeptically for a moment, before smiling. I guess I could agree to that. I've never really had a friend before, so you'll need to show me how it's done. He grinned as he took Naruto's hand. That is, if you're up to the challenge, Foxy. Heh, anytime, Broody. Naruto grinned. Since we're friends now, I want to show you a secret. Can you keep a secret? Sasuke nodded. Hey, if you promise not to tell anyone that you saw me cry, then I'll keep any secret you want. Naruto chuckled and directed Sasuke to follow him back to the top of the Hokage monument, though not before removing his chakra from Sasuke's system. Once they reached the top, Naruto put his hand on the top of the fourth Hokage's stone head and channeled some chakra. An intricate seal appeared for a moment before a large square piece of stone rose out of the statue head and moved aside, revealing a tunnel into the mountain. It's in here. This is my sanctuary. Only Hinata-chan, Old Man Hokage, Uncle Hayashi and Auntie Tsum have been in here. Naruto explained as he motioned for Sasuke to follow. This is a weird place. Sasuke commented as they walked down the dark hallway, using a ball of Naruto's fox fire to light the way. At the end of the hall was a strange wooden door, coated in seals and talismans. Naruto gently bit his thumb and wiped a bit of blood on the door, which then proceeded to vanish like it was never there. Following the blonde into the dimly lit chamber, Sasuke gasped at what he saw. The room held two strange trees, each with the trunk hollowed out and filled with resin which had hardened into golden amber. Inside each tree, sealed within the amber, was a human being. One was a red-haired woman and the other was a blonde man that looked eerily like Naruto. Well, Sasuke, let me introduce you to Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, my parents. Sasuke didn't know whether to stare at the two crystallized humans or their tailed beast son. The boy didn't know how to react to friends in normal situations, so how the hell was he supposed to react to something crazy like this? Then suddenly, the names Naruto had said clicked in his head. Wait, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki? Those are their names? Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. Yep. My dad is the fourth Hokage, but that's a super SSS rank secret, so don't tell anyone. And my mom used to be an amazing kunoichi with a really cool bloodline ability. She could make chains from her chakra. I've been hoping I'd get that power too, but it hasn't shown up yet. I can't believe it, you're the kid of the fourth Hokage and my mom's old teammate, Sasuke muttered, now officially dumbstruck. If he hadn't already been through an emotional roller coaster that day, the Uchiha doubted he would have believed this was real. Oh yeah, Auntie Hikari said that she used to be on a team with my mom and your mom. They were supposed to be one of the only all-kunoichi teams in the Leaf Village. Naruto grinned as he wagged his fox tails. Sasuke smiled. Hey, my mother is always telling me stories about how crazy Kushina used to be. I know I can't tell anyone about your dad, but can I at least tell mom about Kushina? It would make a good peace offering when I go to apologize to her. My mom is known to the council already, so I think that'll be okay. What do you need to apologize to your mom for? Naruto asked. Pretty much the whole last 2 years. Mom and Itachi were mourning too, yet I acted like a brat to them. I also made an ass of myself to the council more than once, so I'll need to apologize to them too. Though I bet the civilians will just say that I did nothing wrong. Sasuke muttered, feeling suddenly bitter about the civilians of the council. He had started feeling it after Naruto told him how they treated him. Is this feeling empathy for a friend? He thought. Well, I've got to report to the council this afternoon anyway to let them know how my first day went. They always want to know everything about my life, with me being a precious treasure, or a wild beast depending on who you ask. But you can come with me if you want. Naruto offered. Sasuke nodded. With everything that happened, classes must be over by now. Do you want to head straight to the council? Naruto grinned mischievously. Yeah, and I have an idea for welcoming the council to the chamber, and you're gonna help me. The dark-haired boy paled at this. Why do I get the feeling that I've just walked into a dangerous situation? Naruto just kept laughing as he led Sasuke out of his parents' stasis chamber. The two boys ran to the Hokage tower, making sure that no one saw them as they snuck in and up to the council chamber. As expected, it was empty since there was still a good few minutes before the council was due to gather. Perfect. Hey Sasuke, I'm gonna teach you something really cool. Trap storage seals. Trap storage seals? You didn't show anything like this in the assessment. Sasuke said, tilting his head quizzically. Well, a ninja has to keep some secrets. Plus, when I use them for pranks, I can deny any knowledge of it. Anyway, they're pretty simple. Just paint the seal onto a surface, place what you want to seal in it on top, and then add chakra. Then when you form the release hand sign, the seal will release the item it stored. Naruto explained before showing a drawing of the seal to Sasuke. Sasuke examined it closely for a few minutes before nodding. Okay, I've got it. But what are we gonna put in them? Naruto smirked and revealed a handful of small bomb-like objects. These are my Naruto special. Here's what we're going to do. Paint the seals on the ceiling above the Elder Council, Civilian Council and Jonin Hiruno's seats. I've got something else planned for the clan heads and the rest of the Jonin, so I'll handle them. Sasuke nodded and took the Naruto special bombs and some ink and a seal brush from Naruto. The Uchiha didn't know where he got these from, since they never fit in the blonde's green shorts and his shirt had no pockets. Ignoring this for now, Sasuke got to work on his part of the prank. It didn't take him long, and once he'd finished all the seals and placed the bombs in them, Naruto did a couple of hand signs and made both his and Sasuke's seals vanish. The Uchiha boy was about to comment on this when he noticed black ink on the end of each of Naruto's tails. You write seals with your tails? He asked. Yep. With 9 tails and 2 hands, I can make 11 seals all at once. Besides, my tails are steeped in tailed beast and Uzumaki chakra, which makes them great for seals. That brush I gave you was made from the fur on my tails too, Databeo. Naruto grinned, letting his vocal tick out again. He didn't do it often anymore thanks to a bit of training from Hayashi, but it still came out when he was excited. Sasuke looked at the brush in his hand, and sure enough he could see some familiar gold coloring beneath the ink on the brush. He offered it back to Naruto, but the tailed beast boy shook his head. Consider it a gift, was all he said before directing Sasuke to follow him out of the room. After waiting on the roof of the Hokage Tower for 15 minutes, an ANBU with a cat mask appeared before the idly chatting Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto Uzumaki, the Leaf Council requests your presence, she said. Thanks Nico, I'll head there now. Naruto smiled. Nico nodded and disappeared in a flicker. Well Sasuke, ready for the show? Heh, this should be good. What's the signal for me to release my seals? Sasuke asked with a smirk. It'll be when I say cake. If I say that word, drop the seals. Naruto grinned like a Cheshire cat. The two boys excitedly ran to the council chambers, pausing so that they could compose themselves and not give away their plan. Alright, show time. Naruto pushed open the doors and walked in, Sasuke following close behind and shutting the doors behind him. Not only was the entire council gathered, but Mikoto Uchiha, Hikari Hyuga, Iruka Yumino and Mizuki were all waiting as well, likely to hear about the fight between Naruto and Sasuke. Hey everybody, how you doing? Naruto said cheerfully while Sasuke gave a polite bow to the council. Naruto-kun, it's good to see you and Sasuke-kun in good condition. When I heard about your little spat, I was a bit worried. Hiruzen said with a grandfatherly smile. No need to worry, Gramps. We're both just fine. Our first day at the academy was a piece of cake. The moment the words left his mouth, Sasuke formed a silent seal behind his back, releasing the seals above the elders, civilians, and Haruno. The seals appeared before dropping the Naruto special bombs on the heads of their victims. Each one suddenly transformed into a fully iced layer cake, which splattered onto the heads of the council. Outraged yells followed this as the clan heads, Hokage and Jonin suppressed their laughter. Oh Naruto, Hikari muttered, trying to keep her own laughs in. You damned brat. Have you no respect for those above you? Jonin Haruno spat, wiping the cake from his purplish-pink hair. Actually, I think you'll find Naruto was not the maker of those seals, Danzo said with a small smile as he stood up, suspiciously cake-free unlike his fellow elders. He revealed the bomb in his hand, which he had caught before it touched him, and then with skill gained through decades of training and experience, he flicked the bomb directly at Sasuke. Sasuke yelped as the bomb exploded in his face, covering him in cake. Naruto, Mikoto and Itachi all openly laughed while the Jonin and clan heads had to try even harder to hide their mirth. Okay, I guess I deserve that, Sasuke frowned, as he pulled cake from his eyes. Indeed you did. I must say, I never expected you to help with one of Naruto's pranks. The Hokage smiled. Well, it is the nature of a leaf ninja to help their friends, right? Sasuke said with a faint blush under his mask of cake. Itachi beamed at his little brother and Mikoto looked ready to cry from happiness. Even without Sasuke saying more, they knew what this meant. After 2 years of misery, they finally had their Sasuke back. Wait, Uchiha-sama really did help make these damn things? I can't believe that. Hamura growled. Well, Naruto made the bombs, Sasuke helped make the seals. It was his chakra that made them and he was the one who released them, Danzo said with a laugh. Secretly, he was elated. With Sasuke and Naruto now friends, if Danzo's plan to keep Naruto loyal ever failed, they'd have an Uchiha close to him that could hopefully tame him. Oh, that reminds me, Naruto said, activating his own seals. A series of small pops could be heard and a single rose fell onto the desk in front of each of the clan heads and friendly Jonin. Ever the showman and Naruto? Kakashi said with a nice smile as he threw the rose at Naruto's feet. The others followed suit and Naruto bowed like an actor on a stage. At a bit of urging, Sasuke rolled his eyes and joined in. If your ninja career ever fails, at least you have a good backup as a stage magician. Sasuke teased. Yes, this little show was amusing, but it is time to get serious. Naruto, clean up, Hiruzen ordered. Naruto simply nodded and formed another hand seal. Instantly, all the cake and roses transformed into a single leaf each, which Naruto quickly dashed about and picked up. At Sasuke's curious look, Naruto grinned. It's my fox transformation, leaf charm. I can turn leaves into anything I want by pouring in some chakra. Pretty cool, huh? With the leaves gathered, Hiruzen had Naruto describe everything that happened on his first day at the academy, from the introductions to the assessment tests, to the fight with Sasuke and what happened afterwards. He only left out the visit to his parents' stasis chamber, but he did mention telling Sasuke who his mother was, which made Mikoto ecstatic. Sasuke looked disappointed and regretful through much of report, though he perked up when Naruto said that he and Sasuke were now good friends. I see, you had quiet the day. Iruka, Sasuke-kun, anything to add? Hiruzen asked, keeping a neutral expression. No, Hokage-sama, Naruto told you everything. Though I will say that seeing Sasuke now compared to how he was earlier, it is hard to believe they're the same person. He seems genuinely remorseful. Iruka said, I see. And Sasuke-kun, do you have anything to say for yourself? Even if you made up afterwards, you did attack Naruto-kun outside of a sanctioned match, and that is a serious offense. Hiruzen said firmly. The civilians began to look panicked. They didn't want to see their hero being punished just for attacking the demon boy. Hokage-sama, surely given his emotional trauma you can forgive this, can't you? We all know that it was the 9 tails that began the unrest with the Uchiha which led to Sasuke-sama's suffering, so is it any wonder he attacked the Creed heir, boy? Haruno said. That is not an excuse, shouted Sasuke, much to the council's surprise. Naruto is not the same 9 tails that caused the Uchiha's problems. He even told me that he'd have given his life to save the innocents slaughtered by Sasuke. Naruto is a ninja of the leaf and my friend, so I won't let you treat him like a monster. Naruto smiled broadly and put a hand on his friend's shoulder. Thanks Sasuke, that means a lot to me. The civilians were too shocked to argue against Sasuke, and both the clan heads and the friendly Jonin began to wonder if they had misjudged the young Uchiha. Sasuke, Itachi began. Does this mean you have let go of your hatred? He asked hopefully. I can't say that I don't still hate Sasuke. It still hurts so much whenever I think about what he did. But it's not right to act the way I did. I am sorry. I am truly sorry for everything I have done, Sasuke said, bowing his head to the entire council. Please forgive me. Mikoto couldn't keep her emotions inside anymore and burst into happy tears as he ran forward and embraced her son, whom for the first time since the massacre, returned the hug with tears of his own. Hiruzen sighed and shook his head, relieved that Sasuke was not being consumed by hatred any longer. The old man just wished it hadn't taken a fight with Naruto to snap him out of it. Sasuke, the old Hokage began. I visited you before you signed up for the academy. I asked what you would do with the skills you cultivated as a ninja. Has that answer changed? Still in his mother's grasp, Sasuke nodded with a new, determined look. Yes, Hokage-sama. I still want to hunt down Sasuke, but not for revenge. I want to bring him back to the leaf to face justice for what he's done. And I want to fight and grow stronger so that I can protect the village and my friend. Naruto's got it in his head that he can just throw his life away all the time to save others, so I'm going to get stronger so he doesn't have to get himself killed. Naruto laughed a bit, but gave a grateful smile to his new friend. Thanks Sasuke. And you don't have to worry, when you go after Sasuke, I'll be right by your side. If it's the two of you, I think you may actually succeed, Itachi said, imagining how powerful the two would be. Madara Uchiha was immensely powerful when he used the 9 tails as a tool. Imagine how great the two of you will be fighting as friends instead of as a master and his slave. That thought made them both grin. The idea of being stronger than one of the legends of the leaf was an amazing one indeed. Well, considering everything that has happened, I think I will leave Sasuke's punishment to Iruka and his mother. The attack may have been a serious offense, but since it led to a good outcome, I will forgive it this time, Hiruzen declared, effectively silencing any and all arguments that may have been forming. Iruka, with Mizuki trailing behind, approached Sasuke with a small smile. Normally, you'd be in detention until you made genin for this stunt, but like I said earlier, I will let you off with a warning. Study hard and be a good student Sasuke, and you too Naruto. I'm going to be expecting a lot from you. Oh, and after the assessment test, the two of you are tied for the top shinobi position, and Hinata is currently occupying the top kunoichi position. You should be proud Hyuga-sama. Hayashi and Hikari both wore proud smiles as they nodded their thanks to the departing teacher. Unfortunately, Naruto wasn't so glad. Damn. I was supposed to get ramen with Hinata-chan after class. I forgot all about it. She's going to be so mad, he said fearfully. It can't be that bad. Hinata seemed pretty even-tempered to me, Sasuke commented. Oh no Sasuke, you have no idea how worked up my eldest daughter can be when she gets mad. Hayashi grinned, knowing he was teasing Naruto. I passed her on the way here, and she did not look happy. Naruto went white as a sheet and bolted out the door. Sasuke just stared and the smoke he'd left in his wake before the blonde boy suddenly ran back and grabbed him. If I'm getting it from Hinata-chan then so are you, Naruto declared before dragging the Uchiha off with him to meet their fate. The parents among the council laughed to themselves. Oh, to be young again. When Naruto and Sasuke reached the Hyuga compound, they found a Hyuga maid playing with a little girl with long brown hair and cute round face. Naruto-kun, Naruto-kun! The 2-year-old Hanabi shouted, running over to the blonde boy. Naruto-chan's mad at you. That made Naruto gulp. If even little Hanabi could tell Hinata was upset, then Naruto's goose was cooked. Now Hanabi-chan, came a sickeningly sweet voice from inside the house. You don't want to spoil the surprise now, do you? Naruto and Sasuke paled as Hinata walked out into the yard, wearing a smile that meant something very unfortunate was about to happen. Naruto-kun, Sasuke-kun, let's have a little talk. Hinata said, activating her Byakugan. The two boys' screams could be heard throughout the village for a long time afterwards. Since that busy first day at the academy, Irika's class of ninjas in training steadily moved through the next 5 years at the academy. Just like with every generation of students, many of the civilian children dropped out, until of the 5 starting classes of 30 students each, only a single class of 20 remained. Irika had been the most popular teacher with the students that year, so he was selected to run the class, and he certainly rose to the challenge. The Jonin were claiming this was the most talented class since the village's founding. Naruto and Sasuke's friendship had been going strong through the last 5 years, to the point that they were best friends and it was rare to see one without the other. Hinata also welcomed Sasuke into her group of friends, after showing him exactly why the Hyuga were so feared. To Sasuke's surprise, he actually found it easier to get along with the other students and had fully integrated with Naruto and Hinata's friends among the clan children. He liked Hinata for not crowding him and acting like a fangirl. He reluctantly had fun with Naruto's pranks, and on top of it all, he had an eager sparring partner in Kiba. Shikamaru, Choji and Shino all got along with the boy as well, with Shino being the one who spent the most time with Sasuke other than Naruto. But the Nara and Akimichi boys preferred the sometimes lazy and sometimes gluttonous Naruto. The girls of the class, sans Hinata, had eventually divided into 2 fan clubs for Naruto and Sasuke, with Sakura and the civilian kids making up Sasuke's fan club and the children of ninja making up the Naruto fan club. Ino had started off in the Sasuke fan club, but had quit her antics after Naruto told her that Sasuke only liked strong and serious kunoichi. Training-wise, things hadn't changed much from the assessment on the first day, at least in terms of the rankings. Naruto and Sasuke were still tied for the top spot among the boys, with Kiba trailing behind. 2 strong rivals had motivated him to up his academic studies, while Hinata had never wavered from her top spot among the girls, though Ino and Sakura gave it their best to pass her, leading them to be tied for second place. It hadn't been easy maintaining the top spot for Naruto, whom was constantly sabotaged by Mizuki and a few of the teachers from the special classes which had been paid off by fear-mongering civilians. Still, he had persevered, and with Azashi Hyuga helping to tutor the boy, Naruto had even kept high marks in the written parts of the various tests. Finally, after all that training, the day they were waiting for finally came, graduation day. Naruto awoke bright and early and threw on his ninja garb, a mesh shirt under a black jacket with the Uzumaki swirl emblazoned in orange on the back, along with a pair of Jonin-style blue pants. Naruto had originally wanted an orange jacket and pants, but he had been overruled grabbing his weapon pouches from his dresser. He'd stopped sharing a room with Hinata when he turned 5. He headed out the door to get breakfast before the academy. Naruto-kun! Hanabi greeted as Naruto entered the dining hall. The now 7-year-old Hanabi had grown a fair bit taller, and now wore black training garb. "Morning, Hanabi-chan. You still itching to start the academy?" Naruto grinned as he sat beside the young Hyuga. "You bet. Father finally convinced the elders to let me go. I'll start as soon as your class graduates." Hanabi smiled. At that moment, the door slid open again, revealing Hinata. Now 12 years old, Hinata had started developing, much to her embarrassment, so she hid her figure beneath a cream-colored and fur-lined jacket. She also wore the same kind of blue pants as Naruto, though they were darker and a little shorter. "Good morning, Naruto-kun, Hanabi-chan," she greeted. "Mother and father apologize, but they won't be joining us for breakfast. Apparently they are still in talks with the elders." Naruto scowled. He knew what these talks were about. Ever since Hanabi had been revealed as a prodigy in the Gentle Fist, many elders had tried bullying Hinata into giving up her title as heiress so the stronger daughter might lead the clan. Of course, with Naruto backing her up and the other clans backing him, the clan elders could do nothing to force the issue, though they still made it their life's mission to interfere with everything. And in truth, Hinata was stronger than Hanabi by a large margin, but their spars always ended in draws due to her reluctance to hurt her little sister. "Forget those old geezers. We need to get ready for the graduation exam. But as soon as we're genin, I'm leaving itching powder in their laundry again," Naruto declared, earning giggles from the girls and some snickering from the branch members whom were also having their breakfast. Naruto and Hinata finished their food and with a goodbye to Hanabi, raced for the academy. As usual, Naruto took on his fox form and had Hinata ride on his back so they'd be there quicker. In the last 5 years, Naruto's full-sized fox form had grown and was now as big as a 2-story house, so he had to use his smaller forms when running about the village. When they arrived, they found Sasuke and Shino waiting for them in silence. After exchanging the usual pleasantries, they headed into the class and waited for everyone to gather. At 9 a.m. exactly, Irika walked in and started the class. "Okay students, this is officially your last day as members of my class. Some of you will pass on to the genin rank while others will need to join next year's group to get another chance at it. I hope you've been practicing." Irika smiled. The first part was a written test, which Mizuki handed out. In the past, Mizuki had tried casting a genjutsu or transformation on Naruto's test so that he would misread the questions and give wrong answers, but Naruto was immune to genjutsu, and he could always feel the chakra in the transformations and dispelled them. But this time, Mizuki thought he'd finally get the boy. He had gone to the shinobi archives and asked for a copy of a previous year's Jonin written test under the guise that he was going to study it for his own eventual promotion. And of course, that Jonin test would now be given to Naruto. The fox boy could feel Mizuki's intentions as he handed Naruto the paper, and it took less than a second for him to figure out that he never passed this test honestly. Now if only he had some stealth skills like some kind of ninja, Naruto snorted to himself. Fox ninja art, familiar clone, he whispered. He felt one of his tails slip away from his being and form itself into a small golden fox with a single tail. Waiting for an opening, the fox dashed out the door. It headed to the shinobi archives and found the answer key to the test and began reading it. Unlike a normal clone which was illusory or a shadow clone that needed to be dispersed to pass on its knowledge, his familiar clone kept a telepathic link with the original. The downside to the jutsu was only being able to make one clone for each tail he had, and since he had to maintain at least one tail to keep himself alive, Naruto could only make 8 of these clones. Now all that remained was to put on a show of struggling, to make sure Mizuki didn't notice anything fishy. Formulating a special plan to further embarrass the Chunin, Naruto made another clone and sent it off on its own mission. Once the test was over, the familiar clone slipped back in and merged with Naruto again. Mizuki collected the papers and left Naruto's on top so that Iruka would fail him first. Unfortunately, it wouldn't go as planned. Wait a moment, Mizuki. I think you gave Naruto the wrong test. This is way too high level for even the average Chunin, Iruka commented. But wait a second, these answers look Naruto. How do you know some of this stuff? Oh, you know, Iruka-sensei. Naruto gave a grin at Mizuki. I like to hang around the shinobi archives. I guess Mizuki just wanted to test if I'd been learning anything there. Here's my real test, Naruto said, producing the correct test from under his desk with all the answers filled in. His second clone had stolen it from the teacher's lounge and rapidly filled it out while he worked on the Jonin test. Mizuki scowled as Iruka took the real test and graded it. Good job, 98 points. I'll also see about grading the extra paper during the break. Maybe you'll get some extra credit. The scarred teacher smiled. That really pissed Mizuki off, but he just sat back and waited. There were more tests to come and more ways for Naruto to fail. After a few minutes of grading, Iruka was a master at this. Their sensei announced the scores. Sasuke had beaten Naruto with 99 points, Sakura had gotten a perfect score of 100 points, Hinata had gotten 99 points, Kiba had managed to sneak in a pass with 56 points, Shino scored 98 points like Naruto, Shikamaru had gotten 74 points, without actually trying, Choji managed 67 points, Ino was able to reach 91 points, and lastly Sai got the minimum 51 points he needed to pass. Sai had been ordered by Danzo to become dead last so that he would be placed on a team with the Rookie of the Year, which would almost certainly be Naruto or Sasuke. With the test scores read out, everyone prepared for the Bukijutsu test, with many students hoping to make up for their failed written tests with good scores here. After the Nine Tails attack, the Leaf Council had ordered an expansion in many academy courses to better prepare them for future incidents, and one of those was the upgraded Bukijutsu course. Every student was required to learn Shuriken Jutsu and at least one other weapon style of their choice. This made the weapons test a bit hard to grade, but thankfully, the weapon tutors had all been given the day off for the test. First came the Shuriken Jutsu test. Simply hit as many of the 8 kill spots on the mannequin as you can. Of the 10 most talented hopefuls, the lowest score was Kiba with 4 out of 8 Shuriken hits and 6 to 8 kunai hits. Sai matched him and everyone else was able to get at least 6 hits with each weapon. Sasuke, Hinata and Naruto all got perfect scores thanks to their skilled eyes and their practice. Next was the specialized weapon test. To pass, the student's tutor must rank their skill to be at least low genin level. Sai was first and reached low genin level with the Tonto from an ANBU tutor. Then came Shikamaru, whom used trench knives to low genin level, much to the annoyance of his tutor, Asuma Saratobi, whom knew he could do better. Choji used a bow staff similar to his father's while Ino used a spear, and both managed high genin scores from Choza Kimichi. Shino opted to use 2 miniature crossbows that were hidden in his sleeves and was able to use them to high Chunin level thanks to his father, Shibi Aburame's tutelage. Kiba and Naruto went next, since they had chosen the same weapon, clawed gloves, since they complemented their fighting styles. Suminozuka had been their tutor, though it was Hana, Kiba's sister, that had come to judge them in the place of her mother. Kiba went first and donned his gloves, which were bigger and bulkier than Naruto's. In mere seconds, he shredded the target dummy and left only a tattered pile of wood and cloth. He was scored as a low jonin with them by his sister, whom looked fairly proud. Naruto went next and his gloves were much smaller, and only had metal parts on the actual claws and a single plate on the back of the hand. Despite the smaller size, Naruto was able to wield them just as well and he joined Kiba with a low jonin score. Hinata went next and her weapon was a bow, which she had trained in with her mother. Another Hyuga was here today to judge her, since Hikari was busy with the clan elders, but it didn't matter to Hinata. Present or not, she'd make her mother proud. Wielding her ivory white bow, Hinata dashed around the target dummy and riddled it with arrows. 3 hit the head at different angles, 2 hit the throat, 2 more hit the heart, 1 hit the back, which would have severed the spinal cord, and a final arrow hit the dummy below the belt, which made the boys in the class shudder. She was scored at high chunin, which Hinata was happy to accept. Sasuke and Sakura were the last of the skilled students to show their skills. Sasuke had opted to learn swordsmanship, specifically with a Chikudo-style blade, from Hate Gecko, and he had taken to it like a fish to water. He was able to destroy his dummy with precise and high-speed strikes, leaving no wasted moves, which earned him a mid-jonin level skill. Sakura, on the other hand, had surprised many when she revealed that her skill with twin tantos held in the reverse grip managed to get her a high chunin score from her uncle Kasuke, whom watched with a stoic expression as the pink-haired girl sliced apart her dummy. The rest of the students either managed low to mid-genin level, if they passed at all, with katanas or dual blades, which had been chosen because they looked cool, and not because they complemented the student's style. Many students who had done badly in both the written and Bukijutsu tests were allowed to leave at this point, as they wouldn't be able to make up enough points in the last 4 tests to pass. Genjutsu was by far the hardest test for most of the students, as much of this generation had little talent for it. Sasuke, Sakura, Hinata, Ino and Shino were all able to cast genjutsu of their own and could escape Iruka's genjutsu within 3 seconds. Shikamaru, Choji and Sai were able to break the jutsu within 5 seconds and Kiba took 8, while everyone else took at least 10 seconds if they managed to break out at all. Naruto, of course, was immune to the genjutsu, but since he couldn't cast one either, he was given a high, though not a top score. Fuinjutsu was next, and to Iruka's surprise, only 9 students were able to pass. Sai purposely flunked this so that Naruto wouldn't suspect Sai's ability if the emotionless boy ever needed to seal him, while the clan kids had been given extensive seal training when they helped Naruto with his pranks. Each of them was able to make a storage seal, a smoke seal, a basic explosive tag and a basic chakra sealing tag. Naruto went one further and created a seal that would allow one to store chakra to replenish themselves with later, as well as a gravity seal and paralysis seal. Sakura did the second best in sealing, which surprised Naruto, since the pink-haired girl rejected any of his attempts to help her. Perhaps her uncle trained her? The lunch bell rang and everyone went out to eat, with Naruto and the clan children grouping together to eat as usual, with Sakura and Sai tagging along. Man, these tests are so boring. I was hoping they'd be a little more exciting, Kiba said, Akamaru barking in agreement. The best tests are after lunch, the ninjutsu and taijutsu tests, Sasuke said with a grin, looking forward to having a rematch with Naruto in the taijutsu tournament. He felt it would be a good way to show how far he'd come from the first day. Yeah. I can't wait. It's been ages since we've had a good fight, Naruto said. Naruto, you've fought each of us at least once in the last week, Sai helpfully pointed out. A week is a long time for me, Sai. And besides, what was with you flunking the Fuinjutsu test? I showed all of you how to do those seals like 100 times. The blonde grumbled. Humph. Don't flatter yourself, fox boy. I passed all on my own. Sakura sneered. Right, Sasuke-kun? Much of the group scowled at the girl. She was always fawning over Sasuke and pretty much did nothing else, aside from badmouthing Naruto. No one knew why she had such an axe to grind with the lovable prankster. Unlike some of the other kids who hated him, she had no relatives that died in the Nine Tails attack. She wasn't born until a month later, and her parents had died in a construction accident a year after. Sasuke had tried to use her love for him to correct her behavior, but it never worked. It was a shame too, since if Sakura was nicer to Naruto, Sasuke would probably have asked her out. She was a fairly strong kunoichi after all, and he thought she was pretty cute. Sasuke just sighed and ignored her while the conversation picked up again. After the lunch hour was up, Iruka called everyone back and told Naruto that he had gotten a perfect score on the Jonin test, though Naruto asked that he not get extra credit. He didn't need it, and it would be unfair to his friends, plus it pissed off Mizuki. The next test will be the ninjutsu test. We're having it outside since I bet a few of you will go overboard like in the last assessment, Iruka said, giving pointed looks to Sasuke and Kiba, who had nearly burnt down the building and had blown a hole in the wall respectively. Everyone eagerly ran to the training yard and quickly showed off the 3 academy jutsus: substitution, clone and transformation. Naruto's test was a little different, but that was simply because he had too much chakra to use the normal clone and transformation, so he instead used his familiar clones and his fox ninja art, soul transformation, which was a solid version of the normally illusory transformation. But then came the fun part of the test. Okay everybody, now we'll do the extra credit portion of the test. Anyone with extra ninjutsu to show can perform them to earn extra points. This won't affect if you graduate, but it may influence your final ranking in the class, Iruka explained. Eagerly, the rookie 10 stood up and prepared to show their jutsu. For the most part, it was simply the clan children demonstrating their family jutsus, but there were a few additions. Instead of activating and using her Byakugan, Hinata flew through a series of hand signs before declaring water style, water swallow, and shooting a series of small water birds from the ends of her fingers. The water birds shot towards the target before swooping at the last second and flying around the target to land a blow from the back. Sasuke decided to simply obliterate the target with fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu, leaving nothing but a pile of ash. Sakura further surprised everyone with ninja art, Scattered Sakura, which took cherry blossom petals that Sakura threw and turned them into razor blades. The jutsu shredding the dummy as effectively as Naruto and Kiba's claws had. Whoa, that was awesome, Sakura! Naruto praised, extending the proverbial olive branch. Humph, beat that, you monster! Sakura sneered as she went back to fawning over Sasuke. Naruto huffed and stepped forward. He thought for a moment before smirking. Well, she did tell me to beat her, he thought. Naruto changed into his fox form and flared his chakra, startling the class and putting both Irika and Mizuki on guard. Let me show you what a tailed beast can really do! He roared before gathering his chakra at the tip of each of his tails. Miniature tailed beast bombs began to form on the end of each one, which further scared the onlookers, but Naruto simply smirked. Tailed beast art, 9 tails Gatling! He roared. In an instant, countless smaller blasts of chakra shot from each tailed beast bomb and sent them crashing into the entire field of dummies, vaporizing each one and leaving a small crater where they used to be. Panting slightly at the exertion, Naruto dismissed the bombs and turned back to his human form before walking over to Sakura. Well, Pinky, how was that? He asked with a cocky smirk. And Naruto? What was that? Irika asked, looking between the boy and the destruction he caused. Oh, that? That's my current trump card. I gather chakra at my tails, like if I wanted to make a tailed beast bomb, then fire it off in small bursts. Since my chakra is always connected to me, I can direct each mini blast. Takes a lot of concentration though, Naruto explained. Irika just sweat dropped. It was a good thing he had Naruto go last. Well, never mind that for now. I think it's safe to say you all passed. Now let's head over to the sparring ring for the final test, the Taijutsu test. It had finally come, the Taijutsu tournament for the graduating class. Unlike the tournaments for the first couple of years at the academy, this one would be a mixed-gender tournament, so boys and girls would be fighting each other. Not that anyone cared. They'd been sparring with each other for the last 3 years, and even longer for those who were friends outside the academy like the Rookie 10. The first round was, for lack of a better word, lackluster. There were 20 students in the graduating class, and with half of them being the Rookie 10, it was a landslide. Even Sai, who should have thrown his fight, couldn't bring himself to lose to the pathetic showing of the civilian he'd been matched with. It wasn't until the second round that things got interesting. The first match was between Sasuke and Ino. The Yamanaka girl, eager to prove her strength to her crush, fought hard with a style based around strong kicks and using her long hair to blind Sasuke. The Uchiha was fairly impressed and even got a few bruises from Ino's surprisingly hard legs, but in the end, Sasuke's superior skill shone through and he winded Ino with a gut punch before roundhouse kicking her out of the ring, winning him the match. Once the fight was done, Sasuke smiled at Ino. That was a good match, Ino-chan. You've gotten stronger, he said politely, making Ino blush and Sakura fume. The second match was Kiba versus Shino. It wasn't a hard-fought battle, since Kiba was a Taijutsu specialist, and Shino was more of a hide-and-sneak attack type, but he managed to hold his own and earned himself some claw wounds for his effort before he lost. Unfortunate, was all the Aburame said. The third match was Hinata versus Choji, and was like watching a dainty princess take down a raging bull. Choji threw his whole body into every one of his heavy punches and kicks, but Hinata danced through the blows and gently struck various points on Choji's body, draining his stamina before delivering a single palm thrust to knock him out of the ring. It took a few moments before Choji recovered enough to know he'd lost, but when he did he congratulated Hinata and took his loss well. The fourth match was Sakura versus Sai, and it wasn't really much of a fight. Sai still needed to hang back to be named dead last, and Sakura displayed a shocking amount of skill, especially considering she had never been great at Taijutsu. Sai meekly defended a few blows and threw a couple of token punches before allowing himself to be knocked out of the ring. He did make one crucial mistake though. He rolled with the final blow just enough to negate most of the force of Sakura's punch. Normally it wouldn't have mattered, but Naruto, Sasuke and Hinata were known for having sharp eyes, and they all noticed and were giving the pale boy suspicious looks. The final match of the second round was Naruto versus Shikamaru, and the lazy boy was considering the pros and cons of surrendering. It's not like he hadn't already passed with the scores he'd gotten on the other tests, so did it really matter? Naruto sensed Shikamaru's intentions and gave him a foxy grin. Damn troublesome blonde. Pulling faces like that makes it really hard to let him down, oh well, the Nara thought before stepping into the ring. Shikamaru's fighting style had been shaped around boxing, since it complementing the trench knives he used, but it was not a good match against Naruto, whom was less direct in his blows and relied on trickery. Naruto opted to use his foxpaw style, which he had refined in the last 5 years to even more closely resemble the Hyuga gentle fist. The main difference now was that Naruto relied a bit more on force, since he didn't have the pinpoint accuracy of the Byakugan. Shikamaru lasted a good 5 minutes, which surprised even himself, but in the end he was left too numb from Naruto's chakra-infused palm strikes. As soon as Naruto had struck his arms again and left them too numb to move, Shikamaru surrendered. Fighting Naruto might not have been as painful as fighting the other skilled students, but it was still uncomfortable. Well done to all of you, Irika said, clapping as the 5 round 2 winners stood before him. Now, since there are 5 winners, one of you will be paired with Mizuki in round 3. If the one who faces Mizuki wins, then we'll have 3 people in round 4, so I'll fight the extra. Then the winners will fight, in the finals. Do we have a volunteer to fight Mizuki? Naruto smirked, but Sasuke beat him to it. I'll do it. I want to test my skill against the Chunin, he said simply, hiding his real intentions. Sasuke was a sharp young man, and he didn't miss what Mizuki had tried to pull in the written test. This would be his chance to have a little fun with the fool. Okay then. Sasuke will face Mizuki, Naruto will face Sakura, and Hinata will face Kiba. Sasuke and Mizuki will go first, Iruka declared. Mizuki smiled as he entered the ring. He planned to throw the fight since he knew Naruto would beat Sakura and would be forced to either fight Sasuke or Hinata, which Mizuki thought would distress the boy. Oh, how surprised he would be in the coming minutes. As soon as Iruka began the match, Sasuke dashed forward and kicked Mizuki hard in the balls. The Chunin went bright red as he fell to the floor gasping, before being kicked in the face, then gut punched and finally picked up and thrown out of the ring like a trash bag. Iruka and those outside Naruto's circle of friends looked horrified at the Uchiha's brutality, while those who liked Naruto laughed and applauded. Well, that was disappointing. I expected more from a Chunin. He wasn't even half as good as Naruto and Kiba, Sasuke said, rubbing salt in the wound. Iruka just sighed and propped Mizuki against a tree. There was no permanent damage, so he decided to just leave his fellow teacher to wake up on his own. Next, Naruto versus Sakura, Iruka called. The blonde and pinkette stepped into the ring, wearing matching smirks. Ready to lose, you monster? Sakura taunted. Ha! I'm not even going to need my fox taijutsu here. I'll fight you with the academy style. Naruto shot back, taking the familiar stance of the basic academy style. Most of the students, including Sakura, had either abandoned or altered the academy style into something that suited them better, since anyone with 5 minutes of experience could destroy the academy style. Losing to it as a genin hopeful would be very embarrassing. The fight began as Sakura leapt at Naruto with a high kick. Naruto blocked it and delivered a couple of basic jabs to Sakura's torso, but she shook them off. She was very resilient for a 12-year-old girl, even a ninja one. Naruto smirked as Sakura charged him again, using a high-speed flurry of punches to try and overwhelm Naruto. Sakura's fighting style was designed to knock out the opponent as quickly as possible with heavy strikes to their vital areas, but the academy style was designed to teach ninja in training how to protect those areas, and combined with Naruto's natural hardiness, Sakura couldn't break through. Damn it, how are you so tough? She yelled, nursing her bruised knuckles. I train my body by fighting multiple tough opponents at once. I've been getting the crap kicked out of me by Hinata, Sasuke, and Kiba since we started training. Compared to those 3, your attacks might as well be a gentle breeze. Naruto smirked. Sakura saw red. How dare this filthy monster look down on a human like her? She'd make him pay for that. I'm going to kick the crap out of you, she roared, leaping high in the air to deliver a drop kick to the top of Naruto's head. You can try, Naruto replied, taking the blow without blocking, dodging, or even reacting. But it won't be today. Sakura looked stunned that Naruto took her attack, and it left her open to a counter-attack. Naruto gave her a quick jab to the thigh, then a follow-up kick to the top of her right arm before delivering a roundhouse kick to the head, knocking her out of the ring. Sakura fell to the ground stunned. She hadn't just lost to the monster, or to the academy style. She'd also lost to the very first combo that every student learned and forgot as they advanced. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Iruka declared, making Naruto's friends cheer as he gave a little bow. He went to help Sakura up, but she looked away from him, her eyes hidden by her hair but tears clearly seen running down her cheeks before heading over to stand by herself. I get that she doesn't like me, but crying over a loss like that is weird. And what's with those weird feelings? Doesn't feel like any hatred I've felt before, Naruto thought as he went to watch the match between Hinata and Kiba. Sasuke had also noticed Sakura's strange behavior and felt a twinge in his chest. He wanted to go over and comfort her, and he knew it would likely make her happy, but his pride and friendship with the Nine Tails stopped him. Sasuke couldn't bring himself to extend kindness to those that hurt Naruto, especially those that had no real reason to hate him. Ignoring the pink-haired girl, everyone turned to watch the Hyuga heiress fight and ultimately defeat the dog user. Kiba's style was very similar to Naruto's fox form fighting style, and Hinata had practically spent her whole life sparring with the gold fox, so Kiba wasn't too difficult for her. Still, she was gracious in victory and Kiba took the loss well, though he swore he'd beat her next time. Then it came time for round 4, and Naruto volunteered to fight Iruka, since he didn't want to risk fighting both of his best friends on the same day. Iruka stood across from Naruto and couldn't contain his proud smile. The boy had really grown on him, and had even bowed to Iruka and apologized on the behalf of his predecessor for killing Iruka's parents. After that, Iruka began to see Naruto as like a little brother and regularly joined him for ramen at Ichiraku's. Naruto also saw Iruka as one of his older brothers, along with Itachi and Kakashi. Okay Naruto, which style are you going to fight me with? I know that the fox paw isn't your only one. Iruka smiled. Naruto grinned. Heh, should have known I can't sneak anything past you Iruka-sensei. The truth is, I have 3 styles. Fox Paw is meant for more defensive combat, and to defeat enemies with minimal harm. But my Fox Claw style is based on the Inuzuka style, and is much more aggressive. Think you can handle it? The boy asked with a teasing smirk. The scarred teacher nodded and entered a Chunin combat stance. Come at me. Naruto didn't need to be asked twice as he dropped into a copy of the Inuzuka style stance and attacked with a series of rapid slashes. Iruka backstepped to avoid the swinging claws before sidestepping around the advancing boy and aiming a chop to the back of his neck. Naruto flipped and kicked at Iruka's hand, cutting it with the claws on his toes. Iruka cursed himself for forgetting that all of Naruto's nails, not just the finger ones, could sharpen into claws, but he wasn't given the time to dwell on his mistake as Naruto put his hands on the ground and spun himself around, striking Iruka's right side with a devastating spin kick. Iruka took the first couple of blows, but when Naruto started to slow down, he suddenly grabbed the boy's ankle and lifted him into the air. Naruto squirmed in the air for a moment, weighing his options before deciding to swing himself at Iruka, slashing at his chest, cutting through his vest, and just barely scraping the skin beneath it. The sting of the light cuts made Iruka flinch and loosen his grip, allowing Naruto to strike the man's fingers with his free foot, forcing him to drop the boy. Iruka recovered and kicked Naruto hard before he hit the ground, sending him flying. Naruto would have flown out of the ring, but he managed to dig his claws into the ground at the last minute, leaving him doing an awkward handstand at the edge of the field. Nice try, Iruka-sensei, but I'm not done yet, Naruto shouted before leaping to his feet and running at his teacher on all fours like a fox. He went to slide between Iruka's legs to strike him from behind, but his sensei was prepared for this and slammed his palm down on Naruto's side as he slid below him. Naruto cried out, but kicked himself back to his feet and swung at Iruka with his right hand. Iruka easily dodged back, but Naruto went with the blow for a moment before bending his arm and hurling himself backward into Iruka with his elbow. Iruka blocked it with both hands, but the force of the blow pushed him back a bit before Naruto leapt away to gain distance. As Iruka watched Naruto pant, he saw a smirk cross the boy's features. Looking down, he could see why. That last blow had pushed him back just enough for him to be out of the ring. Well, it was a fairly hard-fought match, but it looks like you win, Naruto. Good job. Iruka smiled, ruffling the blonde's hair. Naruto bowed with a big grin before running over to his friends, whom all praised his victory. Naruto didn't like to be arrogant or cocky, but he couldn't deny that after all the insults the village threw at him, he enjoyed being praised for his skills. Still a bit sore from the wounds inflicted by Naruto, Iruka moved back to his place beside the ring and called the next match, which was between Hinata and Sasuke. The two dojutsu users moved to the ring and gave each other a respectful bow before entering their family stances. In the recent years, Hinata has been training with her mother in a variation of the gentle fist style, known as the gentle wing style, which focused more on large, sweeping movements instead of jabs and palm strikes. It was just as effective as gentle fist if the user had the necessary flexibility. The Hyuga elders didn't like it, but Hinata and Hikari agreed that they could go to hell. Begin! Iruka called, and in an instant, the two genin hopefuls closed the distance and began rapidly exchanging blows. Hinata was the faster of the two, but Sasuke was stronger and hit harder, which worked against Hinata since her weakest area was her physical endurance. Since Sasuke hadn't unlocked his Sharingan yet, much to his annoyance, Hinata always refused to use the Byakugan, but since both their fighting styles relied heavily on their dojutsu, both were at a disadvantage. How do you think this is going to go? Kiba asked his friends. Sasuke is really tough, but I think Hinata-chan will win. Naruto answered. I'm not so sure. Shikamaru said. Sasuke has had more experience using his style without the accompanying dojutsu, not to mention Hinata has had less experience with her newer style. I think it'll be close, but Sasuke will get the win. Ino grinned. Wow, should I invite you to the Sasuke fan club, Shika? She teased. Troublesome blonde, I'm merely stating the most likely outcome from the information I have at hand. The lazy boy replied. Just as Shikamaru had said, Sasuke began to claim a slight lead on Hinata, slowly pushing her back. Deciding it was all or nothing, Hinata prepared her newest technique, gentle wing, for feather dance. She yelled before leaping at Sasuke with her arms held out like wings. Chakra in the shape of feathers lined the underside of each arm, and she swung them at Sasuke's four limbs. The chakra feathers acted like blades attached to Hinata's arms and completely shut off the chakra flow to each of Sasuke's limbs. Damn it! Sasuke growled as he lost feeling in all his limbs. When did you learn that? Hinata began panting hard. I learned it while training with Mother. It's an early answer to the 8 trigrams, 4-palm move. Unfortunately, it takes a huge amount of both chakra and control. Sasuke nodded. Well, it was a great move. But I'm afraid this fight is over now. Reiaha! The boy roared as he forced chakra back into his limbs, shattering the blocks that Hinata had placed on his chakra network. I've been practicing methods of forcing out foreign chakra since my fight with Naruto on the first day. It takes almost all my chakra to do it, but at least I can move now. Now I'll show you my technique. Oh no! Hinata cried, unable to move from the exhaustion of her last move. Sasuke leapt in the air and called out Uchiha style, Heavenly Talon. before focusing all his remaining chakra into his right leg and descended down onto the field with his right foot extended and his left foot tucked beneath him. Naruto and the others watched with horror. If that move hit Hinata, she could be seriously hurt. Sasuke knew this, and instead of aiming directly for Hinata, he aimed at the ground just a couple of feet in front of her. He smashed into the ground with huge force, creating a crater and a shock wave that blasted the weakened Hinata out of the ring. Winner, Sasuke. We'll have a short break so Sasuke can recover a bit before we move on to the last round. Iruka instructed as he watched Sasuke and Naruto rush over to help Hinata up, which made Sakura more than a little jealous. Why does Sasuke-kun care so much about the monster and Hinata? It would make it so much easier for me if he just hate them, she thought bitterly. Meanwhile, with Hinata, Sasuke and Naruto were both praising her on a well-fought win, with Naruto gushing over how cool her new move was, and how it made her look a bit like an angel or a swan. Sasuke agreed, though in a more held-back way, simply saying that the move was amazing. Naruto used some of his chakra to replenish both Hinata and Sasuke, so that the two boys could fight at full power in their last match. When the break was over and Iruka called them both into the ring for the final match, Sasuke decided to surprise everyone. Naruto, I want to fight you in your fox form. At least the human-sized variant. He said simply. Are you sure about this? My fox form is a lot stronger, it's not something I like to use in fights with friends. Naruto replied. Sasuke nodded. I know, but in this fight, don't think of me as your friend. I want you to fight me seriously as a fellow ninja. And if I'm ever going to be able to call myself your equal, I need to be able to face you at your best. Naruto paused for a moment before nodding seriously. It was an unusual expression on the usually jovial-tailed beast, but if his friend and rival wanted to face him as equals, then he would do as he asked. In a burst of chakra, Naruto was replaced by his fox form, whom from head to toe was roughly the length of an adult male human. His 9 golden tails were each as long as his body and swayed behind him. Iruka watched the boys nervously. The whole class was anticipating a big and showy match and were making small bets with each other over who would win. Many asked Shikamaru for his input, since he had been right with Hinata and Sasuke, but he simply told them that it was impossible to predict with these particular two. Swallowing hard, Iruka stepped forward. Okay, the final match between Naruto and Sasuke will now begin. Unlike the earlier fights, either fighter budged an inch other than getting into their stances. Naruto was poised to pounce, with his claws and teeth bared, his fur puffed up and his 9 tails all stretching out behind him, spreading out from each other so each tail could be clearly seen. Sasuke took a slightly altered version of the standard interceptor-style stance, which Sasuke had modified to better fight his bestial opponent. Unlike their first fight, this wasn't going to devolve into a brawl or escalate into a full-on jutsu match. This was a simple battle with each fighter expressing a single thought with their entire being. For Sasuke, this was I will prove that a human can stand as equal to a tailed beast. For Naruto, this was I will fight you with my all, not as a tailed beast, but as a ninja of the leaf. The inevitable clash finally came, with both closing the distance in a single bound. Sasuke struck first, aiming a kick to Naruto's underside with the hopes of knocking him skyward where Sasuke would have an advantage. Naruto avoided the kick and dashed to Sasuke's side, where he could kick at Sasuke like a bucking horse. The kick landed and really did have the force of an angry stallion, but Sasuke channeled a bit of chakra to his side to cushion the blow and stop his ribs from being cracked. With the blow's damage made manageable, Sasuke was able to endure it and grabbed Naruto's legs with the intent of swinging him around and throwing him out of the ring. Naruto clawed at the ground and wrapped his tails around Sasuke, but the Uchiha was strong enough to remove the fox from the ground and begin swinging him around. Crap, he's gonna throw me out. Think fast. Wait, I know what to do, Naruto thought, suddenly donning a foxy grin. He unwrapped his tails and positioned them around Sasuke, like each one was the fang of a beast and the Uchiha was in its jaws. Focusing chakra to each tail tip, Naruto quickly jabbed the tails into the 8 vital points on Sasuke's body, with the 9th being poised to help Naruto catch himself when Sasuke released him. Normally, a blast of chakra to each of the vital points would kill the recipient of the attack, but the chakra was severely scaled back and the tails had only jabbed lightly, stunning Sasuke and making his body spasm for a moment. But that moment was all Naruto needed and Sasuke involuntarily released his prisoner, whom went flying out of the ring. Hope this works, Naruto thought before unleashing a burst of chakra from his 9th tail. The chakra acted like a massive gust of wind and shot Naruto back into the ring even faster than he'd been thrown out. He aimed himself and slammed his head into Sasuke like a human, or fox, missile. Unfortunately, Sasuke was still stooping down after ejecting Naruto's chakra, so instead of his stomach, Naruto smacked into his head. There was a resounding DONK. As their heads smashed together, and both fell to the ground with swirls in their eyes. Neither moved and after a quick check from Iruka to make sure they were both still breathing, the teacher burst into laughter and announced double KO. The class quickly followed him in their laughter while Hinata, Ino and Sakura dashed forward to nurse the boys back to health, or at least consciousness, so that they could all go back inside for the final results of their graduation test. Back in their classroom, Mizuki watched the class while Iruka finished adding up the scores. Only 13 students had passed, and the 7 that had failed had already been quietly sent home with an invitation to join the next graduating class to try again. Eventually, Sasuke and Naruto came back to the waking world, though both had splitting headaches and complained about how hard the other's skull was. Truth be told, both were a little disappointed by the outcome of their match, hoping for a clear winner to help them decide who was stronger. But Hinata made the point that since it was a double KO, they could officially call themselves equals. Both boys were happy to accept that. Finally, after 15 minutes of waiting and 5 minutes after the younger classes had been dismissed, Irika came back with the results of the tests. All of the rookie 10 had passed, along with 2 ninja family girls and a single hard-working male civilian. Okay, the rankings of this year are, from bottom to top, 12th and dead last of this year, Sai. Be sure to try harder in your genin training. Irika began. Sai merely nodded, but had an air of satisfaction around him, knowing he'd done his job. 11th is Ami Kurosaki. 10th is Fuki Yamamoto. 9th is Kota Hirano. These were the 2 ninja family girls and the civilian boy respectively. 8th is Choji Akimichi. The plump boy looked a little downcast at the low rank. 7th is Shikamaru Nara. The lazy boy didn't care, ranks at the stage weren't important unless you were the top or bottom. 6th is Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba growled, he would have gotten a higher score if it weren't for those damned written and genjutsu tests. 5th is Ino Yamanaka. The blonde scowled, knowing she'd been beaten by Hinata and Sakura. She'd have to try harder and make Chunin before them. 4th is Shino Aburame. He didn't mind. It was an expected outcome. 3rd is Sakura Haruno. Sakura went a bit pale at this news. Not only was she not top kunoichi, but she'd been beaten by the demon. 2nd is Hinata Hyuga, who is this year's top kunoichi. The Hyuga heiress smiled and looked to Naruto, whom gave her a big thumbs up. And lastly, tied for first place is Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki, with identical final scores. Irika proclaimed. No one in the class had expected anything else, since they'd been tied since the beginning, but that didn't stop a certain vocal Sasuke fan from arguing. How did the monster get the same score as Sasuke-kun? Sakura yelled, slamming her hands on the desk and making Naruto, who was still in his fox form, wince at the volume. Irika sighed and rubbed his temples. The exact mathematics behind the scores are too complex to go into now, so I'll make it simple. Sasuke was superior in the written test, Bukijutsu test and Genjutsu test, while Naruto was superior in the Fuinjutsu test, the Ninjutsu test and the Taijutsu test. Does that answer your question? Normally, the rest of the class would have left Sakura to her ramblings, but Irika mentioned something that they all picked up on. Wait a moment, sensei. Didn't Naruto-kun and Sasuke-kun tie in the Taijutsu test? Ino asked. Irika shook his head. In the final match positions, yes, but in their scores, no. While both fought well in all their matches, Naruto's victories were cleaner and showed more skill. For Sasuke, he almost lost his match with Hinata and only barely managed to win once she could barely move. And while he did defeat Mizuki, his style in that match was unrefined and amateur, more like a street brawl than a ninja battle. So in the end, Naruto got the higher final score in Taijutsu. Most of the class, especially Sakura and Mizuki, turned to look at the Uchiha, but he simply shrugged. I figured Naruto was better in Taijutsu anyway. The guy has 3 fully developed styles for his human form and an even stronger style for his fox form. I'm happy to come second here. That actually brings me to my next point, Irika said, pulling out 2 certificates and a medal. Normally, I'd give these certificates to the top shinobi and top kunoichi, with the higher scoring of the 2 also getting this medal and being named Rookie of the Year. But while Hinata's rank is obvious, for Naruto and Sasuke it isn't so simple. Naruto raised his hand. Hey sensei, why not name me top shinobi and make Sasuke Rookie of the Year? You'd be that willing to give up on that medal? You usually love shiny gold things. You're like a magpie, Sasuke smirked. Hey, I only like shiny gold because it matches my fur. And besides, I mainly want to be top shinobi so I form a pair with Hinata-chan, Naruto declared, trying to keep the faint blush from his cheeks. Hinata was bright red, but at least she didn't faint. Irika just chuckled and accepted the compromise, before handing out the real prize of the day, their hidden leaf headbands. The Rookie 10 all grinned wide. They were now officially ninjas of the village. The Rookie 10 celebrated their newly acquired genin rank with loud cheers and uproarious mirth. With the tests done, Irika dismissed the class and told them to report back in 2 days for the team assignments, which added more excitement to the genin. I can't wait to see our teams. Maybe we'll get put on the same team, Naruto said as Sasuke and Hinata followed behind him on their way back to the clan district. With the Uchiha clan compound no longer being investigated and the repairs complete, the surviving Uchiha had returned to their ancestral home. It's possible. The top shinobi and top kunoichi are always placed on a team with the dead last. But since we have an odd number of graduates, we may end up as a 4-genin team, Sasuke commented. So it would be the 3 of us and Sai. I don't mind that, but I wish Sai would be more social with us, Hinata said. Sai had left the class on his own as soon as he had received his headband and Sakura had vanished somewhere not long after, leaving only the 8 clan kids to wander home. As they reached the entrance to the clan district, Naruto narrowed his eyes. Mizuki was waiting at the gates of the district. What are you doing here, Mizuki-sensei? Naruto asked, not letting on that he didn't trust the man. Ah, Naruto. I was hoping to speak to you in private. Can we talk? He asked. The other clan genin looked to Naruto with skeptical eyes, but Naruto waved them off. You guys go on ahead. I'll catch up soon. Mizuki suppressed a smirk as the other genin just shrugged and left, leaving Naruto to follow Mizuki to the rooftops nearby. So what did you need to talk about? Well, there is a little extra test for you this year. Mizuki began, trying to form his smirk into a warm smile. Oh? But I'm already a genin. Why would I need more tests? Naruto asked. Well, this is a special advancement test only given to the Rookie of the Year. Sasuke may have been given the title officially, but the teachers at the academy agreed you'd be more deserving. Naruto restrained his snort of amusement, but allowed Mizuki to go on. Anyway, since we have an extra genin this year, we are offering the advancement test to the best genin. If you pass, you'll be named Elite Genin and added to the team of your choice as a secondary leader with the authority to command the other genin. Mizuki thought he was being clever here. Surely the little demon would do anything to have power and authority over his human peers. Once again, he misjudged the boy's character with his assumptions. Naruto could sense the ill intent and knew it was all a lie, but he played the part of the eager genin. Wow, sensei, I could be made an elite genin. What's the test? He asked with faux excitement. All you have to do is sneak into the Hokage library and retrieve the scroll of sealing located within. You'll need to avoid the ambu guards, but they've been told to go easy on you. Once you have the scroll, you'll need to take it to the southwest checkpoint house in the forest outside the village. Do you know where that is? Mizuki asked. Naruto nodded. Itachi and I-san told me about it. I'll find it, Mizuki grinned. Good. Just get it there before midnight tonight, and you'll pass. This was truly the perfect scheme for Mizuki. If Naruto failed, he'd be accused of conspiring to steal a leaf relic, and no way would the council believe the demon over a teacher. And if by chance that Naruto succeeded, then Mizuki would get the scroll and be able to kill the demon before leaving the village. It was foolproof, unless Naruto had sensed the scheme from the beginning, which he had. Okay, sensei, I accept. I'll get the scroll and bring it to the checkpoint before you know it, Databeo. Naruto declared, throwing in his tick for good measure. Mizuki smiled broadly and left, thinking his victory was inevitable. But as soon as the man was out of sight, Naruto created a familiar clone to tell his friends the situation, while he himself ran off to warn the Hokage. Naruto was used to just wandering into the Hokage's office whenever it suited him, since he was considered Hiruzen's honorary grandson, but this time he stopped to ask his secretary. The elderly woman had replaced the last secretary after she'd been rude to Naruto, and the new one was much kinder, being a retired shinobi. Hey Granny, I need to see the Hokage. It's really important, Naruto said, surprising the secretary. The old woman's eyes widened. If Naruto was actually asking, it must be important. She sent along the message, and moments later, Naruto was standing before the Hokage, his own serious expression matching that of the old Sarutobi. Naruto-kun, I see you passed the exam. Excellent work, but why are you checking in now? You could have waited for the council meeting tomorrow. I was going to, but I was on my way home earlier when I came across some moles digging around the foundations. Naruto said. Hiruzen's face hardened immediately. Moles were spies, and digging at the foundations meant they were also established ninja of the village. The Hokage gave a hand sign and 5 ANBU immediately appeared and activated privacy seals around the room before vanishing again. Okay Naruto-kun, tell me everything you know. The Sandaime ordered. The young fox spent the next 10 minutes describing everything about Mizuki's actions in the past, as well as what he'd said to Naruto about this so-called advancement test. The Hokage scoffed at that. There were elite Chunin and elite Jonin, but no such thing as an elite genin. Naruto-kun, if Mizuki has been causing you so much trouble, why have you not reported him before now? Hiruzen asked. Well, if I came running to you every time so random idiot was mean to me, I'd never leave your office. Don't forget that aside from the Ikarakus, none of the civilians like me. I figured I should learn to solve my own problems. But this time, he is endangering not just me, but the village, so I had to tell you. Naruto replied. Hiruzen gave a sad smile. The little fox really did carry too much on his shoulders. Very well, I can respect that. But what to do about Mizuki? He cannot be allowed to get away with this scheme. Naruto, since you were the main victim of his actions, how would you like to play an instrumental role in his capture? I'll pay the wage of an A-rank mission and add an A rank to your record. Naruto gained a mischievous smirk. Well, an A rank on my record would be nice, but I don't really need money. I still have 2/3 of my S rank pay from the Hyuga affair when I was 3, Hiruzen sighed. He knew where this was going. Okay Naruto, what would you like instead of the money? 5 jutsu from that scroll I'm supposed to steal, and the option to pick my teammates. Naruto stated. I'll give you 1 jutsu from the scroll, teach you another jutsu myself, and let you pick a single member of your team with the other picked by myself. The Hokage haggled. 3 scroll jutsu, 1 of your jutsu and both teammates, and you pick the sensei. Naruto retorted. 2 scroll jutsu, 1 of my jutsu and 1 teammate. Final offer, the Hokage said. Naruto may have been good, but Hiruzen had over 40 years of politics under his belt. He knew the art of the haggle. Okay, deal. For my teammate, I'm going to pick Sasuke, Naruto said, wearing a contented smile. Hiruzen nodded and made a note of it. Why Sasuke-kun and not Hinata-chan? He asked. Well, I'm top shinobi and Hinata-chan is top kunoichi. Those always get put together anyway, so I was just making sure that Sasuke would be with us. Now which jutsu am I going to get? Naruto asked. Clever. Now for jutsu, I am giving you the ninja art, Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu from my own jutsu library, and from the scroll, I'm going to give you a skill I think will suit you, Shadow Clone Jutsu. At the moment, you can't make normal clones due to your extreme chakra levels and you lack the training to perform elemental clone jutsus. This only leaves the familiar clones, of which you can only make 8. Shadow clones will be the best for you since not only will they speed up your learning, but you could make thousands with your chakra levels and they are all physical. Hiruzen explained. Alright. Those sound awesome. But what about the second jutsu from the scroll? Naruto asked. Hiruzen smiled. That is a special one. It is one of the rare light style, or yang style jutsu. Yang style, 9 pillars of heaven. It is a jutsu that requires monstrous levels of chakra that none since the first Hokage have been able to use. It works by using incredible amounts of chakra and forming it into 9 beams of light, which were used to permanently destroy the 8 inner gates and prime Tenketsu. This jutsu was originally used by the first Hokage to permanently destroy the jutsu and chakra abilities of whomever it was cast upon. Well, why would you want to teach something like that to me? Naruto asked incredulously. Well, for one, you are the only one in the village that could learn it. But there is a more serious reason, or reasons, as the case may be. Firstly, we've been having a problem of criminals escaping in recent years, due to our prisons being understaffed since the Uchiha massacre. Normally, we seal the chakra of prisoners to prevent them using jutsu to escape, but for some reason, more and more people are finding a way to undo the seals. If you learn this jutsu, we may ask you to use it on any ninja sentenced to life imprisonment, so that they can never use jutsu again. Hiruzen explained. The young-tailed beast scowled. I don't think I like the idea of being used as some kind of punishment, he said bitterly. I am aware. That part of the idea was suggested by the council. You see, we've been planning to have you learn it for a while, to preserve the jutsu's history, but we needed to come up with practical reasons to placate your more vocal detractors on the council. Danzo suggested the prisoner control idea, while Itachi Uchiha presented another alternative. With this jutsu, you will be able to defeat and capture high-level ninja without killing them, and since we know how conflicted you are on taking a life, we thought it would make a good alternative. So, on the one hand I'll be used to keep prisoners from escaping, while on the other I can bring anyone back alive. Naruto paused. With this jutsu, I could help Sasuke bring Shursui back alive, he thought. Okay Gramps, I'll accept it. I'll learn those jutsu and have Sasuke as my teammate. Now what do you need me to do? Hiruzen smiled and his eyes shone with a scheming glint that would have made Naruto and Danzo envious. The plan was simple. Naruto would spend the afternoon learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and then he'd take a fake copy of the Scroll of Sealing and head to the rendezvous point. Itachi and a small collection of former ANBU which had joined the Uchiha in reforming the military police force would follow him, and when Mizuki makes himself known and reveals his intentions, they will swoop in and arrest him. The old Hokage warned Naruto that he'd be telling the other ninja about the scroll being stolen, so that they would make a believable amount of fuss, just in case Mizuki suspected something. With the plan set, the old Hokage created a shadow clone of his own and had it go with Naruto to his parents' sanctuary to learn the first of his new jutsu in secret. It only took Naruto an hour to learn to create shadow clones since it was actually a fairly simple technique. It was only used so rarely and labeled the forbidden jutsu due to the insane chakra requirements that could kill the user. At roughly 10 p.m., the Hokage's shadow clone disappeared and Naruto met Itachi on top of the Hokage monument. Itachi and his 5 fellow police ninja were all dressed in ANBU uniform, with Itachi himself wearing a weasel mask. Okay Naruto, are you prepared to begin? Hokage-sama won't report the scroll's theft until we are out of the village. Itachi explained. Yeah, I'm ready. I'll be running in fox form to make it look more realistic to Mizuki. Will your friends be able to keep up? Naruto asked. He wasn't being cocky here. Naruto could easily outrun most Jonin and ANBU when in fox form, which is how he got away with so many pranks. Of all the ANBU that helped me reform the military police, these 5 are the fastest. They should be able to keep up if you keep it at a reasonable pace. Itachi smiled before retrieving a pair of scrolls from inside a seal. Here, the big one is the fake scroll of sealing. It contains a trap seal that will tie up whoever activates it, so try to get Mizuki to inspect it to make his capture easier. The smaller scroll is the one containing the yang-style jutsu. No one in the village knows it, so you'll need to practice it on your own. Naruto nodded and pocketed his jutsu scroll, while putting the fake scroll of sealing on his back. He then transformed into his fox form, with the scroll still prominently seen on his back. Normally his clothes vanished in this form, but he could maintain them if he desired. Okay, let's go, the fox boy grinned, before leaping off the monument and charging for the rendezvous point at breakneck speed. It would normally take 2 hours to reach the checkpoint house by foot, but with Naruto's speed, they made it there in half an hour. The ANBU hid themselves and Naruto approached the house, where he could sense a familiar chakra. "Mizuki-sensei, I got the scroll!" Naruto yelled. Mizuki appeared from inside the simple log cabin that made up the checkpoint. He was fully armed and equipped, with 2 giant shuriken on his back. "Well done, Naruto, now bring it here and I'll make sure it's the real thing. Just in case you decided to make a fake for the test, I've got no problem with that, sensei." Naruto smiled, using one of his tails to hand over the fake scroll. Mizuki grinned widely and took it, before greedily ripping it open. As soon as the scroll was unraveled, a large seal formula appeared and began to glow before doing nothing. Naruto and the hidden ANBU all face-bombed. It looked like whoever did the seal was out of practice. "What? What the hell is this?" Mizuki growled, throwing the scroll to the ground. He knew enough about Fuinjutsu to be able to identify a trap seal. "So, you thought you could lure me out and here then capture and kill me? Not gonna happen, you little demon!" he roared, pulling the 2 shuriken from their place on his back. Actually I didn't make that seal," Naruto replied with a deadpan expression. "Someone working for the Hokage did it. I should never trust seals that I didn't make myself, oh well." "Weasel, a little help?" Mizuki froze as 6 ANBU dropped down around him, all with their weapons drawn and pointed at the traitorous Chunin. "Chunin Mizuki," said the Sharingan-wielding ANBU between the traitor and the young fox, "you are hereby under arrest for the attempted theft of a leaf relic, the attempted murder of a leaf shinobi and conspiracy to commit treason. Come quietly or we will use force." "Whoa there, let's take it easy here, Itachi-sama. Can't you see that I was just here to stop Naruto from leaving with the scroll? The demon was probably going to use its power to finish its predecessor's work and destroy the village." Mizuki tried to defend himself, but the eyes of the 6 ANBU turned steely. "Genin Naruto Uzumaki reported your earlier conversation to Hokage-sama, whom then ordered him to deliver this fake scroll to you to determine what your intentions were with it. Judging by your equipment, you are planning to leave the village. Hawk, search the prisoner," Itachi ordered. The ANBU with the hawk mask stepped forward and quickly took all of Mizuki's weapons and pouches before searching them. There was mostly just ninja tools and travel supplies, along with a copy of an Ika book, at least until they searched the inside pockets of his Chunin vest. "Captain, I've found a letter and a headband bearing the mark of the Hidden Sound Village," Hawk said, handing the offending items to Itachi. The Uchiha clan head frowned and flashed his Sharingan over the letter. Once he was satisfied that the letter wasn't trapped, he opened it up and quickly read it. My Mizuki, it looks like we get to add aiding a known enemy of the leaf to your charges. This letter is from Orochimaru, and based on its contents, you have been in correspondence for some time. Men, take Mizuki into custody and escort him to the TNI department. They'll soon find out why he did it." Itachi frowned. After what happened with Shosui, the new Uchiha clan head could not tolerate traitors of any kind. "You want to know why I did it? The answer is right behind you. That flea-bitten demon walks the same streets as those it tried to destroy. It eats our food and breathes our air and pollutes this village with its presence. Don't you see he's already infected the Hokage and the council? I wasn't about to stay and let him infect me too," Mizuki ranted. He was quickly silenced by a backhand from Itachi's iron fist. "Naruto has proven to be a more honest ninja than you in every respect. He has done nothing to hurt this village and has even gone out of his way to help the victims of the Nine Tails attack, even though he wasn't actually the one responsible. The next time you run your mouth about one of my comrades, you won't see the inside of a court. I'll kill you myself." Itachi growled, his Sharingan warping to the Mangekyo as he spoke. The traitor shuddered and fainted at the words of the usually soft-spoken man. One of the ANBU just slung him over his shoulder as they prepared to leave. "Good work, everyone. Naruto-kun, I will report everything to the Hokage, so you should go home," Itachi said, returning to his more gentle persona. Naruto nodded, "Thanks Itachi and Ai-san. I knew Mizuki didn't like me, but I'm kinda surprised how much he hated me. Pay him no mind. Traitors will say anything and their words mean nothing. I personally owe you for helping Sasuke when he was at a dark point in life, so I know that you are a good person. Now run home. I'm sure Hinata-chan is waiting for you." The fox boy and the older Uchiha shared a smile before Naruto scampered off home. Just as Itachi had said, Hinata was indeed waiting for him, along with her parents. The blonde explained what had happened with the mission, which hadn't surprised Hayashi, but Hinata and Hikari both hugged him. Finally, after a quick dinner, Naruto bathed and went to bed, exhausted after a long day. The next day, Naruto went with Hayashi to the council meeting, where he was praised for his work in helping capture the traitor, along with being the top shinobi of the year. Some of his more vocal detractors tried to accuse him of cheating, but Iruka had been called to give his own commentary on the graduation exam, and he confirmed that Naruto had been completely honest in all his tests, even when Mizuki tried to sabotage him. Iruka even went as far as to apologize to Naruto for not suspecting Mizuki of foul play sooner, but the blonde just waved it off. Iruka and Mizuki had been childhood friends. Of course Iruka would be a bit ignorant to his friend's worst qualities. Still, Iruka later took Naruto to ramen after the meeting, and Hiruzen told Naruto to report to the Sarutobi compound after lunch to begin learning the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. He did just that, and while this was harder than the normal shadow clones, he had it mastered by noon the next day, giving him half a day to hang out with his friends and fellow genin. Sasuke was impressed that Naruto had gained new jutsu, and all of them, even Sai and Sakura, were very curious about the enigmatic young style. Finally, the weekend passed and the 13 passing genin reported to their old classroom for the last time, to be placed in their teams. Iruka smiled a melancholic smile as he saw his former students. All right everybody, it's been a long 5 years, but you are all now officially genin. All that remains is for you to be assigned to teams and given senseis to teach you. Now, there are 2 things to mention here. First is that since we have 1 extra student, 1 team will have 4 genin instead of 3. The other is the specialization program. What is the specialization program? Kiba asked. Well, since last year, we have not only been assigning genin to teams, but also to one of the various ninja organizations dealing in specialty functions, such as medical and tracking. Before last year, the village allowed Chunin to decide which group they wanted to join, but that left us with a surplus in some areas and a shortage in others, so we've begun sending genin to receive training early. You'll be spending every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, as well as Saturday morning, training with your assigned specialty, Iruka explained. Hey, how come we don't get to pick our own? Asked Ami, the purple-haired girl from the small ninja family, partly to ensure the correct balance of numbers for the various departments, and partly to make sure you receive training in areas you have a knack for. Now, teams 1 through 5, along with Team 9 are still in circulation from last year, and Team 7 has special circumstances, so we'll be leaving that one to last. Naruto frowned. He knew that if it had special circumstances, it must involve him. Okay, Team 6 will be Ami Kurosaki, Fuki Yamamoto and Kota Hirano. Ami, you are assigned to the Torture and Investigations Department. Fuki, you are assigned to the Patrol Corps. Kota, you are assigned to the Tracker Corps. Your assigned sensei is Dodo Akimichi. The 3 non-clan children looked at each other but didn't make a fuss. They didn't seem too worried about their assigned departments and liked each other well enough, so there was no trouble. Leaving Team 7 to last, I'll move on to Team 8. Iruka hesitated a moment. He knew Naruto wouldn't like this. Team 8 will be Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame and Hinata Hyuga. Kiba, you are assigned to the Tracker Corps. Shino, you are assigned to the ANBU Hunter Division. Hinata, you are assigned to the Sensor Corps. Your sensei is Kurinai Yuhi. Shino and Kiba didn't mind their team, but they were a little worried about Hinata, since she had her heart set on being with Naruto. Hinata was disappointed, but didn't let it show, and Naruto had an eerily calm expression on his face, though everyone who knew him could tell he was planning something nasty for whoever caused this. Once Iruka was confident that Naruto wouldn't explode, he moved on. Okay, since Team 9 is still in circulation, I'll move on to Team 10. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akimichi. Ino, you are assigned to the Torture and Interrogations Department. Shikamaru, you are assigned to the Strategy and Intelligence Department. Choji, you are assigned to the Barrier Corps. Your sensei will be Asuma Sarutobi. The 3 just shrugged. Their team was set in stone from the beginning. They were always going to be the next Ino Shikucho formation, and not only that, but all 3 had been assigned to the same division as their fathers. Looked like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. The only thing that interested Shikamaru was that Asuma would be his Jonin sensei. They'd already formed a good relationship thanks to Asuma being Shikamaru's weapons tutor, but only 4 people were left to form Team 7 and everyone was waiting for the inevitable explosion from their resident blonde knucklehead. Still, Naruto maintained the stiff calmness, which really made him look like a Hyuga. Lastly, we'll move on to Team 7. Since they are the last team, they will be the 4 Genin team, and will also have a second Jonin instructor to help keep up with them. Team 7 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha and Sai. Naruto, you are assigned to the Seal Master's office. Sakura, you are assigned to the Medical Corps. Sasuke, you are assigned to the Reformed Military Police. Sai, you are assigned to the ANBU Hunter Division. Your senseis will be Kakashi Hatake and Yamato. Iruka finished. There was a pregnant pause in the room as everyone waited for the inevitable explosion, but yet again it didn't come. Iruka and the rest of the room gave a collective sigh of relief before Naruto shot to his feet, smashed his fist into the desk and roared. What the hell? Iruka could practically feel his heart leap out his mouth as he looked at the furious face of the Leaf's resident tailed beast. It was rare to see Naruto like this, but he seemed to genuinely be struggling to keep his human form, as his slitted eyes, fox ears and 9 tails had all appeared, and his nails had sharpened to claws. And now Naruto, you know that I don't get to decide the teams. They are decided by the Hokage and the members of the Jonin and Elder Councils. Iruka explained, trying to placate Naruto, whom was giving off enough killing intent to make even the stoic Shino and Sai sweat. Without another word, Naruto turned full fox form and dashed out of the room at a speed that left him as nothing more than a gold blur. The genin in the room finally dared to breathe again, with Sasuke adding a sigh. Well, it looks like we won't be seeing him for a while, Sakura scowled. But Sasuke-kun, don't we need to meet our senseis? They'll be angry if that idiot isn't here. Pfft, Naruto could be 3 hours late, and he'd still get here before Kakashi. Word of advice if you want to survive on this team, Sakura. Get used to waiting a long time for our sensei and be sure not to upset Naruto. Sasuke said evenly. What happens if I upset the monster? Will he try to kill me? Sakura asked fearfully. No, you'll be the victim of every single one of his pranks. Oh, and keep calling him a monster, and Naruto will be the least of your concerns. Sasuke glared. Oh okay, Sasuke-kun. Sai just stared at his teammates. On the inside, even he was wondering why Danzo-sama would allow the Haruno girl onto the tailed beast's team. Danzo-sama had gone out of his way to make sure that the fox was happy and loyal, so why put him on a team with somebody that despised him? He'd have to ask him later. Meanwhile, in the Leaf Council chamber, Hiruzen was about ready to smack his head against the desk. If had to listen to one more damned civilian try to have an older training ground demolished and turned into one of his infernal businesses, then the old Hokage was sure he was going to kill somebody. The ninja councils were in a similar position, though Jonin Haruno seemed to be waiting for something with a mildly concerned expression. Hiruzen knew why the normally cold man looked nervous, as the Hokage had been an unwilling participant in the man's scheme. Still, maybe Naruto wouldn't be too upset. Old man, okay, never mind. Naruto was pissed. Naruto charged into the council chamber in full fox form, startling the civilians and making the ninjas wince as they prepared for the consequences of the team's selections. Ah, Naruto-kun. How nice to see you. You know I like to spend time with you, boy, but now isn't really the time. We're having a council meeting here, Hiruzen said, smiling diplomatically. I don't care, you've got some explaining to do, old man. Why the hell was I put on a team with Sakura Haruno instead of Hinata Hyuga? Naruto demanded. Do you have a problem with me, niece, Genin Uzumaki? Kisuke Haruno scowled, narrowing his eyes at the boy. Actually, she's the one with a problem with me. She's the only one in the class who not only despises me, but isn't afraid to call me a monster and insult me. Not to mention she's a total fangirl for Sasuke. Besides, she shouldn't be on my team. The top shinobi and top kunoichi are always paired together, along with the dead last, so why the hell was Hinata-chan substituted for Sakura? And why was Hinata placed with Kiba and Shino? Naruto asked, his whisker marks starting to look wilder. Danzo stood up and approached the boy, before putting a calming hand on his head. Naruto, there are multiple reasons for our decision, but you must be calm. You are a ninja, not an animal, so please restrain yourself. Naruto frowned but nodded. He knew Danzo had ulterior motives for treating him well, but he never outright lied to him or tried to trick him, nor was he unreasonable in his requests, so Naruto had come to respect the man as a sort of great-uncle figure. Heeding Danzo's words, Naruto paused and took several deep breaths, which allowed him to restrain himself back into a calm and controlled human form. Okay, I'm calm now, the boy said, absent-mindedly adjusting the headband on his forehead. Good. Now, Sakura was put forward as a candidate for your team by Jonin Haruno. He wanted Sakura to be close to Sasuke Uchiha. We normally would have refused such a request on grounds of it being unprofessional, but Jonin Haruno gave good reasons. Danzo explained. What were these reasons? Naruto asked, glaring at the Haruno man. As you said, Sakura Haruno hates you and views you as a monster. Danzo saw the pain flash in the boy's eyes, but continued. So we thought that if she was forced to spend time with you on a team, then she would come to see your true nature and her hatred would fade away and be replaced by friendship, just as it did for Sasuke Uchiha 5 years ago. In addition, we've been wanting to create a specialized hunting and tracking team for years and have been testing combinations of skills and clan abilities in each of the previous classes' genin teams. Since we needed to move Hinata to another team, we placed her with Shino Aburame and Kiba Inuzuka in the hopes that this combination will be more successful. Given their skills, I believe they will be. Naruto nodded. He had to admit, aside from Jonin Haruno's pointless request, all the reasons he'd been given were good ones. I suppose I can understand all that. It isn't like I hate Sakura, it's just that she refuses every time I try to make friends with her. By the way, is the Jonin Council different today? Naruto had finally calmed down enough to realize that 2 of the usual faces on the Jonin Council weren't there. Of course, Naruto, Hiruzen said. We relieved Kakashi Hatake and Asuma Sarutobi of their council duties so that they could pay full attention to their new teams. Speaking of which, shouldn't you be meeting with Kakashi now? The fox boy looked at the old Hokage with a blank expression. It's only been like 10 minutes since we were supposed to meet. We won't see him for another hour at least. And that's only if he doesn't go to the memorial stone. The shinobi of the council all nodded solemnly. They knew of the dark and tragic past that the copycat ninja had suffered. Now, Kakashi only lived to serve the village, protect Naruto and pray that Minato and Kushina would one day wake up. Naruto briefly considered going to meet Kakashi at the stone, but decided not to, as he felt wrong being there, as he had never truly lost anyone he loved. Well, I suppose I should go back to the classroom and wait with my team. Even if Sakura and I don't get along, I like Sasuke and Sai well enough. Oh, and Danzo, could you tell Sai to stop holding back now? It's getting annoying. Naruto smiled his foxy smile. Danzo chuckled and nodded. I will be sure to pass along that message. Remember Naruto, Sai is only there to protect you and Sasuke. He is your link to me at all times, so do not be afraid to ask him for aid. Naruto nodded and bowed to the ninja council before running off, leaving the Leaf Council to get back to the much more boring business of dealing with civilian affairs. Since it was almost noon and Kakashi was still not likely to be there for a while, Naruto stopped by Ikaraku's and ordered some takeout ramen for the team before hightailing it back to the classroom. When the boy entered, he found Sasuke and Sai playing shogi while Sakura watched. Hey guys, I'm back, Naruto announced, coming in with 4 steaming bowls of ramen. And I bought lunch? Oh, so you resolved your issue from earlier? Sai asked in a monotone. Yep. Your boss, Danzo, told me all about it. Also, he said you can stop holding back now. Sai's eyebrow twitched and looked to Sasuke and Sakura. The Pinkette looked confused, but Sasuke didn't. So, you both knew already? Yep. Well, it was more of a hunch. I made a gamble when I talked to Danzo and he confirmed it. Now, I wasn't sure what kind of ramen you and Sakura like, so I went for the miso ramen. Here you go. Naruto smiled, handing the bowls to his teammates. And Sasuke, I got the tomato ramen for you. Sasuke smirked and happily accepted the ramen. He would never admit it to the fox boy, but Tuchi's tomato ramen, made especially for Sasuke, was possibly his favorite food. Thanks, Foxy. Sasuke and Sai tucked into their food while Sakura looked at her suspiciously. This isn't poisoned or got some kind of laxative in it, does it? Naruto gasped, backed away from Sakura with a look of mortification. Sasuke just laughed. Relax, Sakura, Naruto would never dare add anything bad to ramen. He claims it's like defiling a sacred temple or something like that. Oh, well, Sakura was struggling to find something to say. I appreciate the thought, but I'm on a diet, so. Sasuke rolled his eyes as Sai and Naruto looked at her blankly. Sakura, you are already dangerously underweight for a kunoichi. Diets are for civilians that are overly concerned with their looks. Real kunoichi eat as much as they can and work off the excess. You are a real kunoichi, right? The Uchiha asked. Sakura eeped and then immediately dived into the ramen, devouring it at a speed that would rival Naruto. Based on the expression on her face, she was enjoying it. Naruto smirked and leaned in to whisper to his friend. Good job, Sasuke. We'll make a ninja out of her yet. It's easy once you get the trick down. Leave Sakura to me. I'll get her to see reason. Sasuke responded. And so, the 4 genin of Team 7 finished their lunch and went back to waiting patiently, or impatiently, for their 2 senseis to arrive. Naruto had just assumed that Yamato would be arriving with Kakashi, but he wondered who the man was. He didn't know any ninja named Yamato, and he knew most of the noteworthy ninja in the village. 2 hours after they'd eaten, Naruto's ears twitched and he looked towards the door of the classroom. They're finally here. The guy with Kakashi smells strange like wood and something familiar. I think I know him, Naruto said, getting to his feet and running to the door. Just as he got there, it opened and 2 men in jonin garb entered the room. Once was the familiar masked man with silver hair, Kakashi Hatake, while the other was a man with strange eyes and a headband that stretched down to cover his cheeks. I knew I recognized that smell. It's Tenzo. Naruto grinned as he leapt to hug his former ANBU bodyguard. Tenzo, now dubbed Yamato, grinned and ruffled the boy's hair. Hello, Naruto. I apologize for not being around as much, but the Hokage has had me on mission after mission for the last few months. I've been clearing the forests of threats in preparation for the Chunin exams being held here this year, he explained. The rest of Team 7 approached their hyperactive teammate and their new senseis. Sai nodded at his teachers, and secretly, his senpais within the ANBU, while Sasuke waved at Kakashi. Hey Kakashi. Who's your partner? Naruto seems to know him. Sasuke asked. Yo Sasuke. This is Yamato. That's only a codename though, and Naruto knows him by his previous one, Tenzo. He was once of Naruto's ANBU guards until last year when he was no longer needed. Kakashi explained. Sakura looked at the strange jonin whom was still chatting quietly to Naruto. Why would that monster need ANBU to guard him? Can't he just eat anyone who bugs him? He hasn't eaten you yet, has he? Sai commented, making Sakura go pale and hide behind Sasuke. Kakashi, ignoring Sakura's insult, just chuckled. Yamato didn't just protect Naruto, he was also in charge of reining him in if he got too excited. You see, due to the actions of a wanted criminal, Yamato ended up with the Wood-style bloodline. Wood-style is capable of restraining the chakra of tailed beasts, so Yamato was assigned to Naruto in case he got out of control. Oh. So that's why we haven't heard about him killing anyone since the big attack 12 years ago. Sakura commented, not realizing how much she was pissing off her new senseis. Actually, Naruto has never needed me to control him. He gets angry just like any other kid, but he doesn't use violence to solve his problems. He prefers pranks, Yamato said, gently pulling on Naruto's cheeks. Well, we should get to the proper introductions and everything. Meet us on the roof in 30 seconds, Kakashi said with an eye smile before vanishing in a flicker. Yamato and Sai followed him, leaving Naruto and Sasuke to charge out the door as fast as they could, with Sakura trailing behind. They only barely made it to the roof before the 30 seconds were up, and poor Sakura was panting desperately as she tried to get air back in her burning lungs. Naruto and Sasuke didn't even look fazed, and they had gone even faster than she had. Once the 4 genin sat down around their 2 senseis, Kakashi gave another eye smile. All right, genin, we are going to be doing introductions. I will go first. My name is Kakashi Hatake. My likes and hobbies are not for the ears of children. My dislikes are nothing worth mentioning, and my dream is to see 2 certain people finally return home. Naruto gave a sad smile of agreement while Sasuke and Yamato exchanged knowing looks. Either way, Yamato was next. My codename is Yamato. My real name is classified. My likes are gardening, especially bonsai trees. My dislikes are traitors and enemy ninja. My hobbies are gardening and reading. My dream is to keep the Leaf Village at peace. The genin nodded along. Minus his name, Yamato was pretty standard as a leaf ninja. Sasuke was next. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. My likes are tomatoes and my friends. My dislikes are those that seek to hurt my comrades or my clan. My hobbies are training and playing the occasional prank with Naruto. My dream is to one day bring my clan's murderer to justice. Kakashi and Yamato nodded. They'd been briefed on Sasuke plenty of times and knew his lust for revenge had been cleared by Naruto. Sai continued the introductions. My codename is Sai. I have no real name. My likes are drawing. My dislikes are traitors and enemy ninja. My hobbies are drawing. My dream is to serve the village. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura gave him blank looks. Since he no longer needed to keep his cover as a weakling genin, he seemed to have even less personality than before. They need to work on that. Sakura went next. I'm Sakura Haruno. My likes, hobbies and dreams are— she looked at Sasuke with a blush and giggled. And my dislikes are evil monsters that hurt my village, she declared, suddenly becoming hateful as she glared at Naruto. Kakashi and Yamato were a little worried that Naruto would react badly, but he kept his features trained in a blank expression, though he couldn't hide the sadness in his eyes. Still, with it now being Naruto's turn, he snapped back to his cheerful self. Hiya, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are ramen and all my buddies here in the leaf. My dislikes are those who call me a monster without getting to know me. Oh, and the 3 minutes it takes to be able to eat instant ramen. My hobbies are pulling pranks and training, and my dream is to rebuild my family, restore my old clan, the Uzumaki, and prove to everyone in the world that tailed beasts are not monsters. The boys of the team all smiled, knowing Naruto's dreams very well after so long knowing him, but Sakura looked conflicted. Kakashi spotted this and signaled to Yamato to follow him after the meeting. Okay, with that out of the way, we will be doing the real genin test tomorrow. Meet at Training Ground 7 at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Oh, and don't eat breakfast or you'll puke. See ya, Kakashi said before vanishing with Yamato. The 4 genin just looked dumbfounded before deciding to just go home. Sakura ran off to her uncle's home while Sai reported to Danzo, leaving Naruto and Sasuke to head to the Hyuga compound to wait for Hinata to be done with Kurenai. Kakashi and Yamato watched them from a nearby watchtower, both with matching frowns. The Hokage's hunch was right. There was definitely something up with Sakura. Her body language and tone of voice made it seem like she was actively trying to hate Naruto. It was not natural behavior, Kakashi said, trying to ignore the circumstantial resemblance between the pink-haired girl and his own former teammate. Yamato just nodded. It wasn't only her hatred for Naruto that was unnatural. She seemed to be forcing her love for Sasuke as well, though it was much less obvious than with the hate. That's probably because deep down, she really does love Sasuke, so those feelings have a foundation to build off while the hatred for Naruto doesn't. We're going to have to keep an eye on her. We should also tell the Hokage to keep an eye on Jonin Haruno. He's been a vocal opponent of Naruto for years, so he's almost certainly involved here, Kakashi said, his frown growing. If Kisuke Haruno was poisoning his niece with hatred and forced love, then Kakashi would be sure to make him regret it. The next day, at 5 minutes before 6 a.m., Sakura arrived at the meeting point on Training Ground 7, hungry and tired from both lack of sleep and lack of dinner or breakfast. She thought that by showing up early, she could prove herself as an eager student and someone who was serious about her training, which had the double benefit of making Sasuke like her more. Of course, she hadn't been informed of Kakashi's notorious lateness and hadn't learned from yesterday. Sai turned up at 6 a.m. on the dot, only because he didn't have it in him to disobey an order, but it wouldn't be until 8:55 a.m. that Naruto and Sasuke turned up, chatting quietly. Hey, how come you two are so late? Did Naruto drag you around the village, Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked. Sasuke rolled his eyes and ignored her in favor of greeting Sai, while Naruto frowned. Stop blaming me for everything. We're late because Kakashi-sensei always turns up at least 2 hours late, and Yamato-sensei won't show up without him. Naruto explained, his eye twitching a bit. We should still obey our sensei's orders. You're leading Sasuke-kun astray. And besides, how did you know Kakashi-sensei wouldn't show up earlier? Sakura growled. Naruto just sighed and rubbed his temples. This girl was really making it hard to be his usual cheerful self. First, Kakashi-sensei won't care unless we get here after him. Second, Sasuke does what he wants and doesn't need me to tell him what to do. And third, I have a familiar clone watching him to let me know where he is, Naruto explained, making his tails appear and revealing that he only had 8 of his usual 9. We left when Kakashi began to make his way here. He tends to take the long way around, so we beat him here. Sakura was about to argue, but she was cut off when her stomach suddenly growled, making her blush furiously. Sai didn't react while Sasuke chuckled a bit. Naruto sighed again. Don't tell me you actually skipped breakfast. And dinner too. I was scared of throwing up in front of Sasuke-kun. Sakura squeaked, barely above a whisper. Naruto scowled and activated a seal on his jacket, causing a still steaming bowl of ramen to appear. Here, this is my emergency ramen. Eat it so you'll have strength for the test. But Kakashi-sensei said, forget what he said. Look, Kakashi-sensei is basically my big brother, so I know his quirks. One of them is the being late thing, and the other is one of his favorite sayings. Look underneath the underneath. Things are never what they seem in the ninja world. Him telling you not to have breakfast is a way of making this test harder. Now eat, you will need it. Naruto said, not leaving room for argument. Sakura didn't know what to do and turned to Sasuke, whom gave her a nod of approval, which motivated her instantly. Oh, okay. Thanks for the food, she said as she began to eat. Naruto then turned to Sai. Sasuke and I ate together with Hinata-chan this morning. Did you eat breakfast? I cannot disobey orders from my superiors. Sai stated simply, meaning he hadn't eaten. Naruto scowled and activated the same seal as before to summon another bowl of ramen. Eat. That's an order from a concerned teammate, Naruto said. Danzo technically gave Naruto and Sasuke the right to give me orders, so I suppose they are my superiors on this team. Sai thought. Very well. Thank you for the meal, he stated simply before taking the food and beginning to eat. 10 minutes later, Naruto sealed the 2 empty bowls back into the seal on his jacket, making Sasuke chuckle. How much ramen do you have stored in there? It's not a storage seal. Naruto smirked. It's a short-range transport seal. Tucci puts a piping hot bowl on one end of the seal at his shop and I transport it. It only works on inanimate objects and doesn't work if you go too far from the village, but it makes for great food on demand. I just need to settle my tab with him when I next stop by. Sasuke laughed again. Only you would use your Uzumaki genius to make a ramen delivery seal. Meanwhile, watching from a tree not far away, Kakashi and Yamato were smirking at their students' actions. Well, Naruto certainly knows how to work with a team, Yamato commented, like he told Sakura, I'm basically his big brother. Teamwork was one of the first things I taught him, and it was the first thing he passed on to Sasuke. Those two should pass fine, Kakashi replied. He had given Naruto's familiar clone the slip by using a shadow clone. It was hard to do, since Kakashi needed to somehow transfer his scent to the clone while hiding his chakra, but the elite Jonin wasn't elite for nothing. Now we just need to make sure Sai and Sakura will play along. Sai should be fine, since he was briefed by Danzo about you and your methods. But Sakura could be a problem if she refuses to work with Naruto. Yamato added his 2 cents to the mix. Welp, only one way to find out. Kakashi smiled as he flickered over to the waiting genin. Yo! Kakashi greeted as Yamato landed behind him. You're late, Sakura yelled, making Naruto wince at the volume. I got lost on the path of life, the silver-haired Jonin responded. Naruto snorted. No you didn't. You've been watching us from that tree since Sasuke and I got here. Kakashi's sweat dropped as a fox familiar jumped out of the same tree that he and Yamato had been chatting in. Guess he didn't give Naruto the slip after all. Heh, very good little brother. But now we're going to be doing the real test. Be warned, at least half of all genin teams each year fail and are sent back to the academy, and I have never passed a single team. Sakura's eyes widened, but when she saw none of the boys reacting, she reined in her emotions. She's learning. Good, Kakashi thought as he produced 3 small bells. 2 of the bells were silver, and 1 was gold. The test is fairly simple. You have until noon to retrieve one of these bells. At the end of the test, anyone without a bell will fail and be sent back to the academy. But not before being tied to one of those posts and forced to watch while the rest of us eat lunch while you get none. Kakashi smirked beneath his mask. Understanding flashed across the genin's faces as they realized why their sensei had tried to make them skip breakfast. But that's not all. As you can see, I have 2 silver bells and a gold bell. Naruto, since you're a tailed beast, your test will be a bit tougher. You'll need to get this gold bell from Yamato, Kakashi explained as he tossed the bell to Yamato. So I need to get the gold bell while the others need the silver ones? But that guarantees at least one of us will fail, even if we get all the bells. Naruto frowned. Yep. The world of the ninja is pretty cutthroat, so get used to it. Also, if anyone other than Naruto manages to get the gold bell and a silver bell, they will get the rank of elite genin and be allowed to order around all the other genin in the village, not just the ones on your team. Getting just the gold bell or both silver bells is still a pass, but it won't get you a special rank. Sakura grinned. If I can get that gold bell, while making sure Sasuke-kun and I get silver ones, then Sasuke-kun and I will be alone together and I can kick Naruto back to the academy. That'll make Uncle Kasuke happy, and if I give the gold belt to Sasuke-kun and get him promoted, he'll love me for sure. Cha, she thought. Naruto felt a shudder go up his spine. He didn't know what Sakura was planning, but he knew it would be bad for him. Still, he had a test to pass. He waited patiently for Kakashi to set the little alarm clock and put it on one of the posts before finally declaring begin. Instantly, Naruto ordered his familiar clone to attack Kakashi and Yamato, giving him and his team an opening to flee for the forest. As soon as they were in the trees, Naruto made 3 more familiar clones and had them go and act as communication devices for his teammates. Unlike shadow clones, the familiar clones couldn't be dispelled, so the one he'd left to fight his senseis was now hog-tied in fox form, its single tail held against its body by Yamato's wood style. Even with the wood style bindings messing with his clone's chakra, Naruto could still feel a strange energy from it. Naruto, being a creature of pure chakra, had an instinctual understanding of any and all chakra he came in contact with, even via clone, and something about this chakra felt strange. It's made of water and earth chakra blending together to make wood chakra, but it feels kind of artificial. Maybe it's because he got the wood style from an experiment, and not naturally? But still, this chakra seems similar to Naruto was suddenly snapped from his thoughts when he got mental messages from his clones. They'd found his teammates, and were bringing them to a location at the edge of the training ground. Naruto pushed his earlier thoughts to the back of his head and ran off to join them, using his fox form to get there quicker. The place that the clones had picked to meet was an old burrow, used by bears to hibernate years ago. When Naruto arrived, he saw no one, but after whistling a little tune, the clones appeared along with his teammates, whom had been hidden as foliage thanks to the fox charm, leaf transformation. Okay Naruto, give us the info. Sasuke stated. In Taijutsu, they have us beat, no questions asked. Kakashi-sensei has over 1,000 jutsu at his disposal, including ones for each of the 5 core elements. Yamato-sensei only has standard ninja arts and wood style, as well as a few A and BU tricks. His chakra is also weird and feels artificial, but it's nothing we can exploit. Both of them are wearing the bells on their belt on the left side. They are also notably not working together. My captured familiar can still send me fuzzy images, and it seems like the sensei are searching for us separately. Naruto reported. Wait, what was that? Since when were you smart? Sakura asked. Naruto grinned. I'm not book smart like you, but I'm observant. When Sasuke and I pull pranks, I analyze while Sasuke plans. I think we should do the same on missions. Sasuke nodded. Right, I'll make us a plan. We need to work together if we're going to stand a chance. Sai, you are the stealthiest of us and the best at hiding your intentions, so you are going to be the one to go for the bells. Sakura, you and I will be attacking from range with our jutsu to keep Kakashi occupied. Naruto, you're going to be the one to attack with Taijutsu and keep Yamato occupied, as well as making sure either of them leave the open area. Can you do it? Naruto nodded. If it weren't for the wood bindings on my familiar, I could just substitute with it, but my link with it is fuzzy now. Plus, the wood is pumping chakra into my familiar and draining it back out. I can't substitute anything with chakra that isn't purely my own. But if you could get one of my shadow clones in there, it'll be able to swap with that without losing any more power. Making those familiars weakens you? Sakura asked, looking between her teammate and the fox at her feet. Yeah, each one costs a tail's worth of chakra. With 4 familiars out, my main body is running on about 5/9ths of my usual strength. Naruto emphasized this by wagging his 5 remaining tails. Okay, then you're pretty handy for a monster. Regardless, I'm ready to go along with the plan, Sasuke-kun. Sakura replied. As am I, Sai added. Sasuke nodded. Right. First thing we need to do is corral them back into the open. Naruto, unleash your shadow clones. Hee, you got it. Naruto formed his new favorite hand sign. Seconds later, the entire forest was filled from top to bottom with golden foxes, each with 5 tails waving about. Kakashi and Yamato both sweat dropped as they were forced to evade thousands of sets of gnashing teeth, and 1,000 more sets of razor-sharp claws. With Naruto's incredible vitality and chakra, as both a tailed beast and as an Uzumaki, he could make thousands of shadow clones without even using a full tail's worth of power, and each was able to take a couple of blows without dispelling. Each clone was only as strong as the average bandit or civilian guard, but with the sheer numbers and the sensei's reluctance to use high-power techniques on a genin, they had no choice but to retreat to the posts, where they had tied up Naruto's familiar. As soon as they were both out of the forest, all the clones dispelled and shrouded the area in smoke. Kakashi and Yamato both sighed and relaxed, but were immediately forced to act when thousands of shuriken came out of the trees. Yamato immediately put up a wood shield, but since he wasn't supposed to help Kakashi, he left the copy ninja to his own defense. Kakashi made 5 shadow clones of his own and began to block and bat away the shuriken with his kunai. That was until one of the shuriken burst into smoke. What the hell? This is the Sarutobi clan shuriken shadow clone jutsu. I can't believe Hokage-sama thought it was a good idea to give it to Naruto of all people. Kakashi complained as he resorted to putting up a mud wall to protect himself. Behind us! Yamato yelled, forgetting not to help Kakashi as he sensed two people gathering chakra in the trees behind them. Fire style, fireball jutsu, ninja art, scattered Sakura. Yamato didn't hesitate to expand his wood shield into a dome to cover his back. But before Kakashi could respond to the incoming hail of fire and razor blades, he was suddenly forced to block an attack from below. One of the shuriken at his feet had been a disguised shadow clone of Naruto, whom had been substituted with the real Naruto, whom was now forcing Kakashi into Taijutsu combat in his human form, right in the path of the incoming attacks. At the last second, Kakashi prioritized protecting his student over the test and threw himself on top of Naruto, forcing the boy to the ground and restraining his arms as Sasuke's and Sakura's attacks sailed overhead. They collided with the back of the mud wall and exploded, sending dirt and debris all over the place. Once things had calmed, Sasuke and Sakura emerged from the trees and walked merrily up to the two senseis, while Naruto relaxed, a triumphant smirk on his face that matched that of his teammates. Yamato reappeared from his wood dome and smiled at the cheerful expressions of his new genin. Judging from your expressions, I guess you are responsible for Kakashi's sudden lack of bells? Yamato said as Kakashi let Naruto go. Yep, our plan worked perfectly, Sasuke said with a grin as Sai appeared from underground beside him and handed the Uchiha a silver bell to match the one Sai kept. Well done getting them. Care to tell me how you did it? Kakashi asked with a proud look in his eye. Sasuke nodded. After Naruto drove you from the forest with his shadow clones, he used the smoke cover from their dispelling to allow us to slip behind you. He then attacked with many shuriken with the shuriken shadow clone jutsu to create the illusion that we were all still in the forest in front of you. When you put up the defense, Sakura and I launched our attacks from your flank to force you to turn towards us. This allowed Naruto to substitute with one of his shadow clones and distract you with taijutsu. He knew that you would prioritize protecting him over the mission of protecting the bells, so when you dived to protect him, Sai snagged the bells. But how? I was checking the ground with my chakra and I didn't detect him underground until after he got the bells. Yamato asked. Simple. Sai ran directly behind my fireball to prevent you from seeing him. When Kakashi dived and the fireball went over him, Sai grabbed the bells from his belt and then dove underground, using the explosion of the mud wall to hide his entry into the earth. Sasuke explained. Ingenious, though I don't like that you used yourself as bait, Naruto. You could have been killed. Kakashi frowned. Naruto only grinned. Count the tails, Kakashi-sensei. The one-eyed ninja did just that, and noticed only a single gold tail swaying behind the boy. A familiar clone. Yep. Naruto smiled. The real body appeared and reabsorbed his 5 clones to regain his 9 tails. Kakashi and Yamato smiled and looked to the clock. 5 minutes left. Well, it looks like Sai and Sasuke pass. But I still have my gold bell, meaning either Naruto or Sakura, or even both, will fail and be sent back to the academy. Yamato pointed out, flicking the gold bell still on his belt. Sakura paled. She'd forgotten about that. She'd gotten so carried away in helping Sasuke's plan that she'd forgotten she needed a bell too. She couldn't take the one that Sasuke had and she doubted Sai would hand his over, or that she could take it with force. And with only 5 minutes left, only the gold bell was left. A ringing sound echoed across the training ground and Sakura knew it was her funeral bell. Standing just a few paces away from her was Naruto, smirking widely as he gently bounced the little, golden bell. Yamato blanched and grabbed his own bell, which with a hand sign from Naruto, turned into a leaf. A fake? When and how did you do this? Yamato demanded. I simply disguised the leaf as a bell and then substituted it onto your belt. Naruto smiled. But I was channeling a little bit of chakra into it the whole time I had it. You shouldn't have been able to substitute it, and even if you did, I would have noticed, Yamato said. Can you really substitute things with chakra over than your own? Naruto grinned and rubbed the back of his head. Nope. But I'll be able to one day, I know it. Then how did you switch them? Kakashi asked. I switched them the instant you threw the bell to Yamato-sensei. Before the test began. Naruto replied. Both teachers could only sweat drop. The little prankster had got the drop on them. Well, it looks like Team 7 will be Naruto, Sasuke and Sai. Unless you can get the bell from one of them in the next 4 minutes, Sakura. Kakashi said, looking to the pink-haired girl. She swallowed hard and looked at the 3 boys. Sakura would never be able to beat any of them in a fight, and both Sasuke and Sai were guarding their bells too well for her to sneakily take them. Naruto, on the other hand, just smiled. Here, Sakura. Come here and take it. I won't stop you. In fact, Kakashi-sensei, if I or anyone else tries to stop Sakura from taking my bell, I want you to fail me. Naruto said, holding the bell out to Sakura. Kakashi nodded solemnly while the other boys looked on with shocked expressions. Naruto, what are you doing? Are you really going to get sent back to the academy for someone who hates you? Hate or not, we've been assigned to Team 7 together, and that makes her my teammate. Come on, Sakura, I swear I won't stop you, Naruto said, keeping his features from showing any emotion. Sakura inwardly grinned. The foolish monster was willing to just hand over the bell and send himself back to the academy. This was the best day ever. So why did it feel so wrong? Why couldn't she move her feet, or look Naruto in the eyes? Everything she could want was being handed to her without cost to her, but it seemed hollow. Sakura hesitated. Naruto smiled.